especially for the young players, I think it's a little harder, right? For some of these players, for example, I don't think they played majors before, and then going straight into this with the crowd and the support from the fans and stuff. Obviously, you feel a little bit nervous, so I think it's important from the the coaching staff and everyone, a lot of psychologists. You start in a best of one, even if you struggle a little bit and have a rough moment at the beginning of the tournament, you can still catch up on, and then that's about it. And yeah, I mean, but for sure, like, the support from the fans and stuff like that for the young players, it could be challenging. It could be challenging, but most of these players, like, they're used to competing and stuff like that, so they should be able to handle it, yeah.
Challenging too, I think, for the experienced players when you think like Taco and coldzera on one side and their new like leadership roles, and then you have obviously Fallen and Fur on the other side. Yeah. Like the young players with that kind of a pressure, but then you got to think the experienced players are going to have to be really focused on keeping those young guys, together, like calming them down when need be, and making sure they're ramping up and building momentum when they have the opportunity. So I think there's some trickiness on both sides of the table.
Yeah, are there any kind of maybe clear-cut favorites that your guys are seeing coming into day one? Are you putting any of the Brazilian teams up there going, you know what, this is the moment that they're going to be shining in front of the home crowd?
For Brazilians,
Furia, for sure.
Yeah, Furia.
Against Big.
Furia.
Yeah.
And I think 00 Nation as well, at least from what I heard, they have been putting a lot of practice and prior to this and bootcamping and everything. So I think for Taco and coldzera as well, having played so many majors and stuff, I think, and they also have a team with a great mixture of like young generation, young players with a lot of talent, and those two guys. So yeah.
Actually, that first game, or that kind of 00 Nation Bad News Eagles game for me is like a little bit of a trap game, I think, for 00 Nation, because you have the young players with the pressure of performing in front of their home crowd. You have another inexperienced team on the other side of things. Both of them are going to be very momentum-based, very in your face. But for 00 Nation, I mean, they can either skyrocket and go crazy, or if that pressure gets to them too much, we could see them kind of collapse in the face of Bad News Eagles, who can bring some firepower into the game.
Yeah, they're definitely a team that's able to bring the pressure when it's needed. Just going back to your point about coldzera, Taco, obviously Fur and Fallen as well. Did you guys see the picture from the media day yesterday where they had the OG crew back together?
Yeah.
I loved seeing that.
Saw that.
Yanko had an opportunity to talk with them yesterday during media day, like a little long-form conversation. And that was one of the big things they talked about and started, conversing, because we mentioned to him, if you go back in 2016 when those guys were in like LG and SK and the #1 team in the world, the first finals we had in Sao Paulo for Pro League Season 3, they lost. They got upset by Cloud9 in front of their home crowd, and they kind of talk about that. The pressure of everything around being the hometown players in a region like Brazil, all the media that comes along with it, all the friends and family that want to be there for the first time probably ever in 2 decades, able to really see you play on this level of a tournament. That was one of the main focal points they had, was how difficult it is to maintain that focus and keep your eye on the prize in that sense and not be distracted by everything outside of Counter-Strike itself.
Yeah, also I would say the same for Furia, right? Furia has been a team that everybody has expecting them to, finally win a big trophy and stuff like that. And it has been like kind of like a mental block for them, right? That they are always able to make it to the playoffs and do great. Now, finally having the home crowd supporting them and stuff like that, I really hope that they're able to put up, a good performance, and also able to, kind of go through this mental block. And yeah, maybe
they're the only hope for the Brazilians. They better do it, baby. This is the time.
Yeah, this is the time.
Yeah, literally do or die time coming into things. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for your thoughts for opening up the day. We're going to throw it to a quick preview of our Challengers teams to see exactly what we should be expecting going down on day one.
Finally getting back into a major again. It's been quite a while since me and Fnatic were in there.
We are not so happy right now because we didn't get Legend spot. I believe that we will be more hungry.
We definitely gave it our all, and this was the goal since I joined this organization, to help them reach their first ever major.
Our team is a complete team of youngsters. They've always wanted to be in the major, and now they've finally made it.
Gamerlegion have eliminated G2 from the European RMR. It's all OG. It is them going to Rio. The biggest stage that Brazil has ever seen.
It's not the team who plays better that wins, in my opinion, the team who makes less mistakes.
Every team who is underdog, they have like some advantage.
People have us on the radar. People know that we can be dangerous.
Maybe they will play a bit more YOLO, maybe they will have pressure, I don't know, because it's a major, it's always different.
It don't really matter how you will win, if you will do it.
The major is definitely the best place to be innovative, come up with new stuff.
We need to get in their face. Their strats aren't going to mean anything if they're dead.
Teams will underestimate us, and I think that's going to be a big problem for them.
We haven't really proved a lot yet, but we will absolutely destroy them.
We have everything to lose as a team. You expect to go through the next stage.
I don't really care what's the format on the major, I just know we're going to make it to quarters.
Once we get into an arena with like 10,000 people or more and you feel the stadium shaking and like everything vibrating, that's when things become a little bit different, you know.
It's wide open, and the good thing is going to be in front of a crowd in Brazil.
Been 2 years that I didn't qualify. I gave up everything that I like to do just to put my focus there again.
We are the underdogs. We're gonna be living our dream of playing the major in front of our crowd.
I think the opponents are gonna feel more the pressure. Brazilian fans, they're crazy. They love the game and they are really passionate.
Of course, it's on Brazil. It's hometown. It's gonna be the entire crowd cheering for us. So we need to take that energy and just put that in the game. It's just going to be one of those moments in life that you stick with it and it's going to be life-changing.
Everyone's looking to prove themselves and looking to just do damage.
All I'm saying is watch out at the major, we're going to be dangerous.
It means everything for us. That's why we work, that's why we play CS. We want to make everyone proud.
Blood, sweat, tears, heart and soul poured into making it to this very stage. It's Challengers Day 1 here at the IEM Rio Major, and we've teleported ourselves over to the desk where I have another very special guest joining us. Maniac, how are you feeling to be here in Brazil for the first ever major in South America?
I am extremely excited. I am extremely excited. Nice pre-show, guys. Nice show you just had here. So many different topics we have to touch on. The stage, the fact that we're here in Brazil. I will try my best to pace myself and not be overexcited too quickly. I think that could be an issue. Let's try and ease into this because it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, oh, yeah. There's a hell of a lot to be excited about. And this view from the desk, I think this is a desk view to end all desk views for day 1 of a major. Man, how's it feeling for you to be up here?
Oh, it feels amazing, right? The crowd is just insane. I mean, the arena is not even packed yet, so I couldn't imagine when, you know, the Brazilian teams are playing. Wow.
I kind of want to turn around. I kind of want to ignore the camera for a second and just have a look.
Just appreciate it.
This is where this
yeah, this is the pretty angle. In terms of coming into things, obviously we're talking about, you know, hyping up a lot of the Brazilian teams coming into it. We had a little chat with Jason and obviously Peacemaker over there too. Where are you standing in terms of the Brazilian representation? What do you think is going to be, you know, so key, so instrumental for the teams coming into this arena?
Well, I think the real question is how are they going to utilize the crowd and how are they going to react to it? Well, and I think in itself it's a debate that polarizes people. You have obviously the part that thinks having a crowd is going to give you +10, +20% level. Then some people think it's overrated, it's exaggerated. I still think that Furia is a very solid contender, they're a very solid team. But for the rest of the pack, for the Imperials of the world, the 0-0 Nation, hell, even 9Z with the Brazilian representation, would that be the spice they need to make it to Legend stage? I think Day 1 is going to give us a lot of information on how they react to the crowd.
Yeah, especially like, I think that for these teams, usually you should go for like your comfortable zone on day 1, you know, not try to do like anything too crazy about, you know, in terms of like the way you're gonna play and stuff like that, because you know you already got the support from the fans, and obviously you're gonna feel a little bit nervous about everything, especially with the young players and stuff. So I think it's more important than ever that when you go in your first match in a major, that you go on your comfortable zone and don't do anything too crazy or try anything, because like you could backfire, right?
That's what's crazy. Yeah. There is no comfort zone if you're a rookie at the major. This is what we have to realize. This is what the people at home have to realize. I used to play majors. You would start in a studio. Chad talked about a gymnasium. We even played against each other at the time. If you're a rookie at the major, your first game could potentially be in front of thousands of people. This is whole new. This is new territory. We have no idea how they're going to behave, how they're going to react, how they're going to actually stand up and be heroes or not. This for me is the story.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be incredible to see how the teams and the players are going to be.
क्या हो गया? What is happening?
Address what Apex said as well. He mentioned the crowd in Brazil. He's looking forward to it, even though he's not necessarily going to be a hometown favorite. Our hometown favorites then, the Brazilian players, is there a tangible advantage playing at home and with all the people here cheering them on?
For sure. I think that with the Brazilian teams, we've already seen one instance this year, I'd say at IEM Dallas, where Cloud9 in some ways never really got over their crowd jitters, and then we saw when they had a backing and an audience that was rooting for them, that positive reinforcement allowed them to elevate over a team like FaZe, who was supposed to be the shoe-in to take the whole tournament.
Yeah, I think especially for a team like Imperial, they're a team that's always going to get better in the later stages of tournaments, and this feels like the playoffs of a massive tournament already. So for them, I'm sure for someone like Fallen, imagine the boost he's going to get from that sort of crowd.
Alan, I think that's a brilliant point to end on for now. Quite literally, everybody, it's hard for us to describe. Hopefully you can feel it, what we're feeling and hearing. It literally does feel like playoffs in here right now, and next door is not even entirely full up at all. All right, for now, we are done with our pre-show. It's time for a short break. When we're back, we are going to kick off our first game on the B stream of the IEM Rio Major 2022. And who is it? MOUZ versus Outsiders.
तीन चार मैचेस चालू आहे का? म्यूजिक बहुत अच्छा है।
A player trying to cause attention away, and he goes into the no-scope at middle.
Simple gets it done. The human highlight continues.
They have to run him down. Simple's posted twist. You've got no hope. No! No. Turns around. Perfecto. Gone. They're all there. Rocky shatters Na'Vi in one magazine. That is nuts. And lethal stick. Torji jumping down. Torji. What is that?
They're both down on the bomb site. One good kill. Oshi picks up one more. No, you must be kidding me! Unbelievable triple.
Stewie's on his own, but look at the time! Look at the time, there's 7 seconds of blood at one! They're trying to go pyramid, but there's no more play! Stewie's on the round, we go to overtime! Oh, I will.
First ever CSGO major, and we begin with some South American representation in a truly continental cast. Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, and Brazil all being represented on the side of 9Z versus another underdog on the side of Gamerlegion. All teams arriving earlier this morning and getting pumped to play in front of what's going to be a truly monumental crowd for day one of the challenger stage of the IEM Rio major. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I believe James Banks is down on the show floor with two very special guests. What have you got for us, Banks?
I'm here with Sadakist and Moses, who will be opening up the Rio Major here. Guys, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm pumped to open this up. I'm pumped to start the day. I'm excited to finally be here. I mean, I don't know. This is just wild.
Now, Moses, I'm going to start with you. It's going to be the first map best of one of the major. What do you want to see, man?
I know a lot of the community's got a little bit of a hate boner for it, but I want Mirage. I want Mirage all day. Both these teams are solid on it. Okay. We saw Gamerlegion with that 5 overtime game that we casted at the RMR as well. I want to see Mirage between these two teams.
Sado, what are you thinking?
Honestly, I don't care as long as it's not Vertigo. Anything but Vertigo. I hope this is the last major we have it. I hope if Valve's here, they sit down and look in the mirror and realize it's time to go for Vertigo. Anything except that.
Anything except Vertigo. I like that. Well, let's get ourselves back to the desk.
Yeah, turns out Sadakist, he ain't part of the Vertigo gang. We will see Inferno coming in as the map in this best of one series, so no happy face for Moses. But I like Inferno. That's a nice map to be starting off with.
I love Inferno. I'm part of the Inferno gang myself. Yep. I might be the president of that club, or self-proclaimed president. No one's. Do you have Inferno? Are you in the Inferno gang as well?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, there we go. So we all agree we're good on that Inferno game.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I actually don't know who to put first in this matchup, this 9Z Gamerlegion. It's such an open matchup in itself, but also a very dangerous one because losing to either of these teams put you in a 0-1. We know the Bullhole system. It's not the way to kick off your major campaign.
Yeah, definitely savage indeed. I want to start off by talking about 9Z 9Z, particularly as they are, you know, the South American representation coming into things, going to be so exciting for them coming in front of playing in front of rather their home crowd, because Matthew, there are some newcomers, there are some major rookies on the side of 9Z.
Yeah, they are actually. You're right. Some of these players, the likes of Max, DGT, or David, have been at the major before. They've had this challenger stint in Antwerp. But for NQZ, for Buddha, that's their first time. It is their first time. But they do have an ace in their pocket. They do have Zach, who we know has a wealth of experience as a coach.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like the importance of Zach as a coach for this team, you know, as a major finalist with Immortals back in the days, like I think it's very important that he calm those players down, you know, like keep them in check about what they're doing and stuff like that. And I think obviously sharing his experience in general, and I know he is a very like motivational coach for them. And you could see like even during the RMR, like that they were able to hold their nerves and come back from very tough situations in a lot of the games. So I think that's a good sign that Zach has been doing a good job, and they have been doing a good job in controlling their nerves and stuff like that. So yeah.
Now, we obviously prefaced 9Z as being, you know, South American representatives, but Matthew, how much would you pin 9Z as being a hometown team? Because we've got a hell of a lot of different country flags being flared in that team.
I know, it actually is a question. You might just say, oh, of course they're going to be supported by a crowd. Well, they have NQZ, he's Brazilian, of course, they have Zach, we talked about it. Yeah. But I think they might be in a position where they have to win the crowd over. I think they have to get the crowd going. It is something that Moses mentioned in that first interview we've had. If you are on the stage, if the crowd is behind you, but you don't give them any reason to cheer, you don't give them any action, any plays, any clutches, it might just fall silent. They might just not be on your side. So for 9Z, it's very important from the very beginning to get the crowd going, to use them as a weapon, to have them in their pockets. I think they're going to have to work for it just a little bit.
Yeah, I also think that, especially for NKZ, as the opera of the team, I think it's very important that, you know, he has the attitude as an opera, you know, that he goes for picks, that he goes for his plays. He is a guy that I've been watching a little bit, and he is that type of player as an opera, you know. He's going for picks, he's going for plays and stuff, and I think even now with the support from the crowd and the Brazilian fans and stuff, that's the moment where he should, you know, step up his game and, you know, put up a good performance. Also, is going to help his team, you know, to hold the nerves and everything, so yeah.
I think what makes me extra excited for 9Z as well is just looking back to their RMR journey, because they had to withstand some true tests, a lot of overtime games going down as well against the likes of 00 Nation, the likes of Imperial as well, managing to actually sway those all in their favor. Do you see that happening in, you know, arguably
Just me? Just me then.
Well done, Paolo, well done.
Cool. Yeah, thanks so much.
9Z, and they actually fight back all the way to make it to the challenger stage, which was in itself a huge display, a huge feat. And now in this RMR Road to Rio, they've had a couple of situations where they had to fight back. It was the case against Imperial, it was the case against 00 Nation. So for a team that we'd like to peg as, you know, rookies and newcomers and whatnot, there's actually some they have some in the back seat. They have that mental fortitude, and it's going to be extremely needed.
Yeah, and I also think that, like, I think what you said about them, you know, when as a Brazilian, when you play against a team like Imperial or 00 Nation, against, you know, players that you probably
going to be right, that it's probably going to be going to some kind of decider map, one that's a little bit more 50-50. Inferno, probably where I would be thinking this goes, Alan.
I feel like it should be Ancient. That was the decider match when they played at Rotterdam, but actually that goes out early. They decided they don't want to play that one again. And as we get into the late stages here, it's going to be Inferno. And I actually think this is a really big mistake from Mouse, because even though statistically outsiders might look a little bit shaky, for so long this team and previous iterations of the lineup have been so solid on Inferno. It's got to be James' most comfortable map to call.
Guys, these overtimes, the game against Spirit, right? Very high caliber teams where Gamerlegion went out of their ways to overperform and surprise everybody. 9Z doesn't really fit that narrative. 9Z doesn't really fit that narrative.
Yeah.
9Z is a tricky team to start your campaign on, because if you go up at the stage and you're up against Vitality, you might find yourself in this role. Like, come on, we're going to show.
They're going to be the team that maybe can get upset by a random team just hopping in there with some crazy strategies, but
we haven't seen so far because we have so little information.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I do want to bring it back to something that we have seen before, though. You were talking about the Orca on the side of 9Z. I want to put the shoe on the other foot and talk about Acor, because, man, his RMR Road was absolutely phenomenal in terms of his impact.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I think knowing Acor and having coached him, like, I think, you know, he's the type of player that he's very calm and collected while playing, you know. I guess that's kind of like a Danish style kind of thing, you know. He's very, like, ice cold while playing. And I think he is one of the most experienced guys in the team. So, like, he has to, for sure, you know, as an AWPer as well, he has to step up his performance. He has to calm down his teammates, and you know, just play his own game. Because I mean, if he's able to put up the performance he did during the RMR against 9Z, you know, I think they could be favorites.
It's a story of redemption for Acor. It's an individual story that is so singular in Counter-Strike, where you have this player in the time tricked, then Mad Lions being catapulted under the spotlights, and everyone is getting excited about him. He gets promoted, if you allow me to use that term, to
and on the mic and making sure that everybody is intact there. So for me, I think that in this game, Dexter has to be the tactical leader, but Frozen, he needs to be the spiritual leader.
I think throw in Zycrone as well. It's also his first major, and of course he brought up a lot of these players through the academy system, and I think he's got a big job here just to focus them in and keep them calm, because this stage is so much beyond what a lot of these guys have played on so far.
Maui, I like what you mentioned about Dexter being sort of the brain and that he needs to be the leader, but in terms of kind of the heart of the team, the pack.
Yeah, really a story of thriving into, or surviving rather, into thriving in the Road to Rio RMR as well. You talked about kind of the redemption arc though, and that was a picture you were painting behind the scenes, talking about the entirety of kind of Gamerlegion. When we're looking at some of the other names, Shui is somebody that I kind of wanted to throw into the mix, coming from that Mao's NXT academy.
Yes, indeed, but I think that sounds means that we might about to get down. It's about to get down.
I think it is. So let's get down and dirty. It's going to be 9Z taking on Gamerlegion, the first matchup to open up the IEM Rio Major. It's Sadie and Moses on the mic. Let's get it.
Yes, let's get it indeed. Let's get straight into it. We are starting off the Rio Major. It is finally here, and it promises to deliver. This game, interestingly enough, is going to be on Inferno. What a great best-of-1 map. 9Z Gamerlegion. Both of these teams are 9Z Gamerlegion. Both of these teams are teams that are very much going to want to start with the 1-0, make their lives much easier in this stage, Jason.
Yeah, both very, very young teams in this challenger stage as well, and both very inexperienced in front of a crowd and on the big stage and in this kind of a pressure scenario. Max, he's going to have first contact surely any moment. Waiting for the peek. Up, Banana. First shot is his. Didn't realize someone was close. He's got an opportunity to back away. Support flashbangs are out, and he's going to maintain some aggression. 9Z just making sure they have information at Banana and Gamerlegion as well. Not being overly aggressive, not overextending early into this pistol round.
So patience so far. Minute and 10 on the clock. Not a huge amount of aggression to counter off the Banana take, but now there isn't. It's all on Max. He's gone down. Chaos with the kill. He starts it, as it was pretty clean. Max, all he got was really one flash. He was solo on that. Now, they will give information because they've slowed it enough that that'll rotate DGT over, but he's going to have to be perfect in his positioning to help Buddha, who's already under a ton of pressure in New Box.
Yeah, there's no way he's getting out of this. No way he's getting out of this. It's just how many can he take down with him. There's the first, traded immediately by Shui, who's going to get the bomb planted, the in-game leader from Gamerlegion, but there's a gap in the smoke. That slows things down, but a huge recovery, and that bomb is going to get planted. DGT ran out of bullets, but there's the kill. David with a chance for another.
David comes in with 3! Finds IEM and Acor as well. They both fall. Isaac, the only one that can save this round now and keep that bomb in position. Banana to hold, but DGT, oh, he wanted to get on that bomb. He knew he was going to wrap. His teammate went down too soon, from CT. And Gamerlegion clutched back the round in their favor.
Oh. That's a little bit wild. All right, pistol round is one you're going to have a little bit of nerves. You're going to have some nerves as a player coming into it. It's over. You get to start settling down. But that's a good win for Gamerlegion. What a round from David to bring this right back.
Firepower. I say far more firepower. Obviously, that's with the reduction of losing Yakindo, one of the world's best riflers right now, who we'll see in Liquid later on in that Legend stage. But even so, we've already talked about the stylistic differences that outsiders have brought to recent matches, to even their qualification in the RMR and at Rotterdam. They've been switching it up, Harry. They've had some quick rounds. They've had some varied pace, and that's going to keep teams guessing on that CT side. Are you getting that typical slow burn from Jame, or is he going to run up top mid and take it right to your face?
Yeah, you know, I think when you used the word firepower a minute ago, it's that idea of you kind of have a lot more to go right in the start of the round. You have a lot of players here who are kind of more than comfortable being that first or second man in, and so it has very much changed the nature of the pooling. Yeah. In this one, little aggro.
Right up middle. 9Z try and pull a fast one over him and push down middle. It gets completely stopped. And Max and Buddha have a long time to just sit there and think about the incoming loss, and this might be a chance for a conversation for 9Z. How to start working things moving forward. There's weapons to be recovered, utility to be recovered in middle for 9Z. As Buddha and Max try and work their way, Isaac still has eyes on it. He had the opening 2 kills. You're exactly right, though. A lot of players, a lot of inexperience here. Acor and Kiaz, the only 2 players on Gamerlegion with major experience. For NQZ and Buddha, it's their first major. David, his first major, the first Chilean at a major as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing with 9Z as well. I know they're predominantly Argentinian, aside from NQZ, but this whole region, Chile, Argentina, it's all due to what's been going on in Brazil with the South American scene. And this major is much for them as a home event, I have to think, in so many ways. Sure, if they're playing another Brazilian team, I expect the crowd will be against them, but this is all together, right? If they've built this together.
क्या हो गया दोनों स्ट्रीम्स से होगी बंद होगी बहस क्या कैन यू फुल स्क्रीन बट नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम देयर वेट फॉर आ नहीं जाता What happened with this guy? But what happened, bro? But अरे रिप्लेस किया रे वही से प्रॉब्लम है शायद से वैसे प्रॉब्लम है आई थिंक मैच चालू है क्या है स्ट्रीम डाउन वही हुआ है स्ट्रीम डाउन हुआ है हम अभी काम करते हैं ना ये खोलेंगे
hand, this is going to have to be a save. They're going to back off of it. So 5-0 for Gamerlegion. Obviously, that does mean, as it was this round, the maximum loss bonus. But an AK and an AWP just get out.
Yeah, huge to have, actually. That's going to set them up very, very nicely with utility in the next round. Obviously, weapons are going to be just fine for 9Z as they come in on David and Buddha, who've gone down here. DJT can keep the SMG, so going to be a very strong 6th round loadout that 9Z is going to have to work with. But now it gets into now you start getting into the situation. On a map like Inferno, you're on the CT side, you're down 0-5. It's time to snap into this game. We haven't really seen that 9Z kind of presence yet on this map to give you some feeling that they've arrived at this major. This might be some jitters, and hopefully in these first 5 rounds, they've worked them out. This is where I think you got to call a timeout if you're Zach right now for 9Z. And you say, all right, guys, Zach being the coach, the most experienced player in terms of the number of majors he's been at, 3 of them, he's got to have a conversation here to get him to chill into the face of this.
Chill in terms of nerves, but maybe get a little more the opposite in the server, because there hasn't been a lot of presence toward Banana yet. Other than Max in the pistol round went out to get information, they've been sitting really passively back inside the site. And now with the lost bonus, the 2 guns saved, maybe they get that sort of cache of utility we see now to sort of dropped outside of Ruins. Maybe they can start to attack that and get a little more aggressive to get map control. But you're absolutely right, they call the timeout. Although, it is a technical timeout, Jason, just to clarify. I was wondering why we didn't have our music, and I look over, we are missing 1 player in the server. NQZ has dropped, so he'll be reconnecting shortly, I'm sure. But yeah, this is a tech pause.
Okay, so fix a few things, and we'll get it back underway.
Take pause.
Great job from Gamerlegion. You mentioned, we've seen the triple B set up for 9Z on defense a number of times already. You mentioned a little bit passive over there as well. Gamerlegion's been able in these first 2 kind of real gun rounds of just move up middle, take bracket control. Shui found that opening kill on Rap side. This previous round, they're able to just take it and slowly encroach against a low buy as well. So brackets have been an issue. That B defense, when you're snacking over there, they haven't seen a whole lot of attention quite yet. So Gamerlegion doing a good job of attacking away from the defensive positioning. He's rejoined the server. We've got readies all across the board, and freeze time is dwindling down. Round number 6 about to come in hot.
Let's see if they can get on the board in it this time. So underway we go. NQZ already looking down toward middle. Just to note for anyone watching in-game, Bulldog is NQZ, Banjo is NQZ. Sorry, is NQZ, and
I was wondering about that. That was throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. Bulldog is NQZ, and Banjo is David. So there you go. Now I've got it figured out. See, it's confusing me as well, Jason. But yes, there's certainly lots of people watching at GoTV for this. I have no doubt about that. As DGT boosted up behind the smoke on Arch side.
Saw a little update there on the side of the screen. There is a B stream going on, 2 matches simultaneously throughout the day. So if you're sitting at home, pull up a second monitor, pull up a second tab, open up
with the AWP in hand, this is going to have to be a save. They're going to back off of it. So 5-0 for Gamerlegion. Obviously, that does mean, as it was this round, the maximum loss bonus. But an AK and an AWP, just get out.
Yeah, huge to have, actually. That's going to set them up very, very nicely with utility in the next round. Obviously, weapons are going to be just fine for 9Z as they come in on David and Buddha, who've gone down here. DJT can keep the SMG, so going to be a very strong 6th round loadout that 9Z is going to have to work with.
Everywhere that 9Z
now you start getting into the situation.
Caught out, but it's on
a map like Inferno, you're on the CT side, you're down 0-5.
The A1S
it's time to snap into this game.
As the kid has a nade as well.
We haven't really seen that 9Z kind of presence yet on this map to give you some feeling that they've arrived at this major. This might be some jitters, and hopefully in these first 5 rounds they've worked them out. This is where I think you got to call a timeout if you're Zach right now for 9Z. And you say, all right, guys, Zach being the coach, the most experienced player in terms of the number of majors he's been at, 3 of them, he's got to have a conversation here to get him to chill, into the face of this.
Chill in terms of nerves, but maybe get a little more the opposite in the server, because there hasn't been a lot of presence toward Banana yet. Other than Max in the pistol round went out to get information, they've been sitting really passively back inside the site. And now with the lost bonus, the 2 guns saved, maybe they get that sort of cache of utility we see now sort of dropped outside of Ruins. Maybe they can start to attack that and get a little more aggressive to get map control.
But they've got plenty of money to work with.
But you're absolutely right. They call the timeout.
By virtue of the saved weapons in the previous.
Although, it is a technical timeout. And obviously, to clarify, I was wondering why we didn't have our music, and I look over, we are missing 1 player in the server. NQZ has dropped, so he'll be reconnecting shortly, I'm sure. But yeah, this is a tech pause. Rounds too.
Okay.
And you're at that
fix
threshold,
a few things,
6 rounds
and
already
we'll get it back underway.
Inferno, and you're yet to be on the board.
Either way, great job with Gamerlegion. You mentioned, we've seen the triple B set up for 9Z on defense.
I think they're going to have to be more aggressive than this. And to be
Have
fair,
real gun rounds of just
Gamerlegion
move up middle,
hasn't
take
had
bracket
to.
control.
This is the
Shuey
first
found
time
that
they've got
opening
to
kill on
them,
Rap
push Shuey
side.
toward the top
This
barrels,
previous
but
round,
they
they're
have
able to
not
just
even
take it and
addressed
slowly
it or
encroach
protected
against a
it
low buy as
because
well.
it's been there for free every
So
single
brackets have
time.
been an issue. That B defense when you're stacking over there, they haven't seen a whole lot of attention quite yet. So Gamerlegion doing a good job of attacking away from the defensive positioning. Where most of the He's rejoined the server. We've got readies all across the board, and freeze time is dwindling down. Round number 6.
They can get on the board in it this time. So underway we go. NQZ. Bulldog is NQZ. Banjo is NQZ. Sorry, is NQZ and.
What the fuck, mate?
And Banjo is stable, so there you go. Now I've got it figured out. See, it's confusing me as well, Jason, but yes, there's certainly lots of people watching at GoTV for this, I have no doubt.
At the end, but it's got to be a little bittersweet when you consider the fact when you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, Gamerlegion has so much money and they're winning so much and so easily that they're willing to come for the hunt like this when we have 4 players surviving and stacked at the A-bomb site for this much time. Here's the nade. Here's the headshot.
Smartly backed up. Oh no, we had no idea, Max.
The first gun run on Rap side, once again, is just an opening kill, just delivers them a solid win. He's playing very, very well, creating the space for his team. And again, this time it's back towards Banana, and again it's Shuey.
The problem is, even with the AWP, of course, sure, he peeked before the smoke. They had the incendiary in the right spot. The replay shows it was just a lovely shot with the AK. But every time they send someone to Banana, there's no backup contingency plan to trade off of it. Even if he hits that shot immediately toward the upper, where's the slide from half wall? That time Max gets caught toward the bags. No one close enough to re-peek from CT and maybe trade that off. So they're giving it away.
This feels a little bit like some pressure on 9Z is really kind of making this very difficult. Yeah, this could be huge. He needs it. He needs a huge play. Only one. Shuey goes down, but there's a quick trade.
Yeah, well, and obviously this maximum loss bonus that continues to build up. But they need to start putting it to work. It's one thing, you say, oh, save, they're leaving themselves well off. You got to start winning rounds too. And you're at that threshold. 6 rounds already against UT side Inferno, and you're yet to be on the board. Ooh, good nade, good nade. First time they try to get an off in toward Banana and they lose it. I think they're going to have to be more aggressive than this. And to be fair, Gamerlegion hasn't had to be. This is the first time they've got to kill them, put Shuey toward the top barrels, but they have not even addressed it or put attention to it early in the round because it's been there for free every single time.
Yeah, outside of the pistol round, this is the first time we've really seen them kind of go at Banana in this fashion. You could see 9Z as well. They've already made the choice to rotate back over and stack the A-bomb site where most of the attention has been, and unfortunately, Shuey's just calling a phenomenal game. The in-game leader of Gamerlegion has just waltzed into the B-bomb site, brought his team in behind him, and they're going to have a free plant and a free 7th round. NQZ's got to be a little bit frustrated with that one. The HE grenade really discombobulating just as he's about to turn the corner to take the peek.
In honor of the fact, Jason, that you're American and 9Z is South American, I'll give up on my Zs today, and I'll go to Z.
We could do Z, yeah. I usually switch to Z when I'm in Europe, and I completely forgot that we're actually in the Americas at the moment because we're never in the Americas.
We've been back and forth on it. I'll switch to Z.
Perfect.
As much as it grieves me to do so.
It's time for you to accommodate me.
Okay, I like that. Happy to do so. Buddha, he's accommodating the library very well right now. Chaos and Isaac going down. This is the first time they've had a lead, and it's passively given back to them. Remember, they lost this Banana position. They are going to lose the round, obviously, with the bomb going off, but the first time they're going to win it out on just manpower and the fact that they're able to sit back and find kills. So again, weapons are still there. I do think they need to do something to get earlier map control.
Yeah, cool little sequence from Buddha there at the end, but it's got to be a little bittersweet when you consider the fact when you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, Gamerlegion has so much money and they're winning so much and so easily that they're willing to come for the hunt like this when we have 4 players surviving and stacked at the A bomb site for this much time. Here's the nade. Here's the headshot. That's the second opening kill for Shui. We saw the huge one in the first gun run on Rap side. Once again, is just an opening kill, just delivers them a solid win. He's playing very, very well, creating the space for his team. And again, this time it's back towards Banana. And again, it's Shui.
The problem is, even with the AWP, okay, sure, he peeked before the smoke. They had the incendiary in the right spot. The replay shows it was just a lovely shot with the AK. But every time they send someone to Banana, there's no backup contingency plan to trade off of it. Even if he hits that shot immediately toward the upper, where's the slide from half wall? That time Max gets caught toward the bags. No one close enough to re-peek from CT and maybe trade that off. So they're giving it away.
This feels a little bit like some pressure on 9Z. Is really kind of making this very difficult. Yeah, this could be huge. He needs it. He needs a huge play. Only one. Shui goes down, but there's a quick trade.
I think he got caught shoulder peeking on the first one. So they'll work around the brackets. Acor, you can see his gun barrel sticking out from Boiler, was already looking towards short side. IEM going to... That's huge spray. I was going to say work out with his teammates. Good play from David to cover that. Unfortunately, he's gone down, and his teammate had 2 HP left on that exchange. So not much they could do about it. Again, another bomb plant. 7 is going to turn to 8. Buddha, I can't picture him winning this one out. He's just going to take that AK and try and get away.
Bro, 9Z's getting worked right now. This is they're on the back foot completely. They're up against the ropes. Whatever you want, whatever metaphor you want to have for them. This is not the 9Z that we've normally seen play throughout the Americas region and throughout the qualifier. They're not finding the fights they like. They're not comfortable or confident swinging into fights, and there's a lot of miscues on their utility.
Well, and this is not, as you say, young players. Home major in a sense that we're in South America. This could be tough.
We've talked about it a number of times, this idea of like playing in front of the crowd, the home field advantage. It can be the double-edged sword.
Yeah, 100%.
It can very easily. I mean,
it's positive, negative tilt.
Even the legendary Brazilian players from SK, from Luminosity, have all talked about it. Those first events that we had back in 2016 here in Sao Paulo as well.
Pro League season 5
I think it was 3. I don't know.
Cloud9 won is all I can say.
Cloud9 won.
Exactly.
The pressure of playing in front of the home crowd. I mean, it's not always an advantage. There's a lot of things that go along with this. Excitement of friends and family being in the area. Excitement of the media swirling around it as well. It can be very distracting, especially for young and inexperienced players. And at the moment, Gamerlegion is rising to the occasion. 9Z is obviously not.
Crowd trying to rally behind them as best they can. Again, though, no aggression toward Banana, so there's not really been much of a redress or rebuttal, but now an opening pick, finally. DGT going to take down Acor.
Get into it, boys. You got to capitalize on this one. You haven't had a whole lot of man advantages in this map just yet. This must be a victory. A 5-on-4.
David got away with that. He absolutely had to get that kill because they went for the 2-man stack on the smoke at the arch side. If he went down, not only did they have the sight, they had pit, and there would have been a rotation back defensively. David was on his own and nearly gave away his position. Buddha will again toward the top side of Banana, but it's Max to at least get one back this time. Tries to beat the smoke, he can't do it, but does decent damage onto Sui, and he body blocked the smoke in turn, so he spotted him going to the side. He'll drop him, and now we might have a round for 9Z.
There we go. They needed it. They needed it. And Isaac didn't spot that between the gap and the smoke. Boost it up. DJT's got it. And 9Z's on the board.
And channel that. Listen to the crowd and use it, because we saw that they looked pretty dejected when they lost that 8th round when Buddha knew he had to save previously. Now, all right, now you've got something going, and it all starts on this opening pick from DGT.
Yeah, who almost didn't get it. He took that little bit of a peek. I don't think he realized quite how blind Acor was.
Double peek as well
really
because of the AWP, right? You see an upper, you don't necessarily want to go back for that.
That could have very easily gone wrong. Nice win. Get the first one behind you. See what you can build off of it. 3 players at Banana for 9Z's defense. DJT, Max, and Buddha. But Shui again leading the way, a little bit more passive. Great chip damage from the utility, and a follow-up peek from Max. Gotta be careful. 3 players he's contending with.
So they go passive this time and toward the site again. Buddha and Max. Damage is one thing, but with AKs and AWPs, you've got to finish them off. The potential is still there for Gamerlegion.
Great early damage, though. They can clean a lot of this up. Spraying through smoke, multi-kills. No one's actually in the bomb site. Utility can lock them out. Oh, there's the peek. Aggressive through it.
Ooh, Chaos, though. Still, oh, if he had kept firing on that, he had the kill. He was only at 18. Still finding 2 in return. Great trades on the entries. So that gives Gamerlegion something to work with, and IEM Romanian is going to get aggressive and catch out DGT. Suddenly it turns, and guess what? Acor, 17 HP. He was one of the players early on that took that damage. He's still alive in this.
And the HP doesn't matter. This is such a hard retake, such a difficult retake. 2 flashes and a smoke to work with. You've got the money to risk it all, and at the scoreline the way it is, I feel like you almost have to risk it, but it looks like they want to back away.
Yeah.
9Z want nothing to do with it, so Gamerlegion, despite the early damage, still going to find a victory at the end of the day. There were 3 players defending this bomb site for 9Z. And there were 2 players with 17 HP on Gamerlegion, and they could not capitalize.
Yeah, the single smoke took 2 of them out, and then Buddha from Cautions, he kind of overextends. He gets 2 kills, but overextends in the fact that there's no trade potential on him.
And I think this is where the pressure of the moment is getting to 9Z. A lot of space is being provided to Gamerlegion. 3 defenders, none of them in the bomb site. The defense is coming through the smoke with the flashbang, and just great trading from Gamerlegion coming through this.
See if they can respond 1 round and then they lose the subsequent when they had a great chance to capitalize. So now we will get our first.
You want to talk about, I mean, they know they're getting buried. They know their head's slipping beneath the water right now. 3 timeouts have been used in the first 10 rounds of this game. And they still don't have an answer, 9Z. Still searching for it.
Very passive still on Banana. Usually that's the first thing you go to, is try and just secure and fortify that with so much utility, but quite passive. And considering the CT side is typically your utility damage map, okay, fair enough. They've got 196 on Buddha. DGT is at 286, so they are starting to get some on the board now. Max with 181.
Yeah, but that's only a cool stat if you're winning the rounds.
Exactly, they're not capitalizing with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's only at this point, if you have that much utility damage and you're still not able to capitalize on it, it just becomes disappointing. Acor down low to 31 HP.
Not enough flashes available to go for that either, because they saw Acor shoot. They knew he was toward the logs. So Max going to be somewhat passive-aggressive, shall we say, as he sits back on the angle. As soon as they peek, oh, he's going to go on this flash in. Deep smoke. Lets him retake some territory. They try and boost above now. Who sees the other first? I think Acor wins this, because as he backs off, AWP's already set. I think Max had to commit to the position to try and win that one out. Meanwhile, NQZ wants to try and pull this back on the other side of the map. He sits towards Boiler. Oh, he's going to see the gun barrel. Nothing he can do about it, though. They aren't going to peek that far. And he misses the flick. IEM's got him down.
Yeah, then NQZ's a big player for this team, and that's a tough miss. 2 kills for him, 2 kills for the Opper. Buddha's going to be up next, and he's got to take a risk to try and make a play to bring him back into this. Inside the smoke, around the edge, he's been spotted. Was not convincing, was not confident, was not decisive, and Isaac finds him.
Gap in that, didn't take advantage of it. Isaac does. He actually comes back in and takes out DGT. So another round, there's going to be 10.
9Z looks scared of fights at the moment. They look afraid to take fights. They look like they've made the decision in their head, and their heart isn't really in it.
Well, the crowd can be their heart if they can rally them and get some momentum going. It does seem like a lot of one-on-one fights to me. Isaac to go back in that and spot the fact that there was a gap. So David just trying to save the AK yet again. He sits 7 and 7. Buddha 7 and 8. Those are your fraggers right now. DGT's not too far off, but and it is interesting. They are holding their own kill-wise. They're just not converting the last few to get across the line in each of these rounds.
Just brutal. You got to give props over to Shui as well. Calling a phenomenal game for Gamerlegion. 10 rounds on the T side opening up. You'll love to see that from your in-game leader. Max is going to have his work cut out for him when they switch sides, obviously. No matter what happens in this half, this has been a catastrophe for 9Z. Some kind of a recovery would be nice. 3 of these last, 4 rounds at least. Something to give you a positive vibe. something that you can grab hold of to rally the team around.
So the boost up. David and DGT. Max with the crossfire. He's gone down, but that just takes the aggro. Good trade back. Isaac able to take David, and then Acor slides out. AWP, they've lost the advantage they had, and they've lost the shot. They've missed it toward IM. They could have controlled the pit with that shot, but he couldn't hit it, and NQZ is struggling this game. Acor's going to sit and just take him out. He's only got 2 kills so far. As the Opera on the CT side, Buddha on the flank.
Got to go for it.
The swing. Molotov down. Don't take a tick from that. They'll hear it. Oh, he did. He walked into it. Now they know. They're both close enough. IM's not even going to be looking down that hallway anymore. Smokeout will confirm, but he wants to try. Oh, we got lucky on that. I was going to say to isolate the pit. IM missed a chance to put him down early, and now he can push through the smoke. He knows it, too, if he can avoid the balcony. I think he lost track of where he was.
Yeah, I do, too.
Jumps up. He hits this. He can turn, he knows, but it's good timing from IM. That would have been a huge clutch to win.
Would have been nice. They don't get it at the end of the day. That's real rough. NQZ trying to step up to find the equalizing kill. He thinks they're going to come in from lane, and it was a little bit late when he got the information that one was dropping out of halls. Huge kills for Acor to find. And a near impossible 1v2 from Buddha. A dangerous crossfire in his own smoke, I think at the end of the day, betrayed him. 11-1. And with, I mean, 9Z's had the full losing bonus, as we mentioned, pretty much this entire game. They've had the AWP a number of times. They've had the resources a number of times. They have had everything you could possibly want to get back into this game, and they haven't been able to pull it off. Very sobering start to the Rio Major for 9Z.
Absolutely is, yeah. But, if anything, game 1 could be a wake-up call for them, and they'll have another best of 1 before they hit the series stage and the serious stage where you face being eliminated, or if they can rally it together, maybe getting through.
Now here's the other X factor of this as well. Remember, they're playing later on today as well. We do the redraws in the middle of the day, and then we've got a second round of matches. So I mean, if you're 9Z, you better hope this is just nerves that you can get over and not just a bad day for the players.
Good day for IM continues. He's up to now 10 kills as he gets inside of the site. Bomb planted by Acor, and they get that down before David could do anything with the MP9. Now he's up close. If the AWP can find an opening, oh, he can't. David's gone down. I was gonna say, if NQZ can find something to pull aggro, he might have been able to strike and run in. He knows there's one. He always sees it. So much damage, but couldn't get it done. And he gets some posts, I guess, from the afterlife with the nade, but it doesn't matter. IM's already put him down. It's 12-1 now for Gamerlegion.
And that took everything away from them. I mean, 9Z, obviously, they have to buy here, but this is going to be the first round. I mean, one of the few rounds they haven't been able to have an AWP, haven't been able to have a good amount of rifles. Actually going to go for a little bit of a half buy with Deagles, with CZs. Well, CZs as well instead of CZs. All the Zs are changing today. 11-round lead for Gamerlegion. They've had everything they've wanted in every part of the map.
Flash over. Again, Banana. Free access for Gamerlegion. Shui already taking some shots in toward the trash position at smoke. Buddha with a 5-7 this late in the half. IM's just going to get a free one on DGT, but he's 5-7. He's going to get close on this. He might try and surprise them. He's got the CZ75 for Max beside him. Noise made by Acor, so they know there's some presence on this side of the map. No rotation available for David, even though he has that Deagle. Buddha's going to start it. Good kill.
Yeah, but they're going to want that up. Oh, David's got another one on the other side of the map. Kiaz. Oh, did he see it? Oh, okay. He knows now. He knows now. Waiting to see if there's going to be a second. Biding his time. There's the crowd cheer, and Kiaz just takes it. Calm and clinical. They know David's in pit. Max has shifted away from the action. And Gamerlegion once again going to find the B bomb site. Although I think he got the information. Might have heard a footstep. Might have just had a sixth sense. Plenty of damage done. Wow. And he's even found David.
Nice re-peek toward top mid. 14 now for IM. So just having an excellent game. Max, not so much. 3 kills only for him, and he's out of this one, no question.
Yeah, he's just thinking, let me get that AK-47 at the end of the day, but look at Gamerlegion. They have the same kind of idea. They know you're going to go for it.
Oh, he got it. He's able to press E from that range.
Go
Good
Gadget
job.
Arms.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows the max distance.
I like it.
So he'll get away with that, no question. Try and stay alive, and I think he will. They're not really pursuing too aggressively. They even go back to Molotov the bomb in case he snuck out somewhere from ruins.
Now, let me get a little bit crazy with you, Matt.
Okay, I like
here
it.
for a second. Back at the Americas RMR, 9Z had some very impressive comebacks in their games.
Yes.
They had a comeback against Imperial that they ended up winning, and I think that looks like, my notes say, I think double or triple overtime. They started 2-13 down at halftime. They came back all the way to force over OT, ended up winning that. Against Double O Nation, they were down 7-14 at one point, had a chance to win at 15-14, and ended up winning in overtime. So, I mean, this is a team that has shown some resilience. And I think, unfortunately, if you're a 9Z fan, that's really the only prayer you got left in this map, is that resilience, is that
something.
miracle comeback.
I mean, it's something. If you've got to look for something to lean on, sure. But unfortunately, I'm not sure I'm convinced or compelled to make it an argument in that
I'm not either. I'm just,
how this one's going.
just got to throw him a cookie out there, you know?
Well, they are putting a little more aggression toward Banana this time with some deeper utility, and they'll leave an anchor there in the form of Buddha. He's already on 41. But finally, we're starting to see that early rotation from 9Z, more standard to the meta of Inferno. Good shot by IEM again, though, to take down NQZ, and Buddha's just jump spotting at this point. He's going to see them now. Okay, back off and call for a rotation back the other way. Who's it going to be? They're not going yet. I think where he's on 41, he's probably going to want a teammate to get there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's a little bit slow, and you got to imagine at this point in the game when you're down 13-1, I think communication has got to probably be a little bit flat. Not a whole lot of proactivity on the map. Everyone's feeling a little bit scummy.
And if they're already slow to react based on the call from their teammate, now with that smoke going down where they were, there's no rotation coming at all. This is over.
Yeah, that kill's huge, but also he spots the boost, so he's like, look guys, there's 2 players on ramp side. You probably more than likely only have 1 guy at the B site, and they found access once again, bomb being planted. It's looking like a 14-1 half.
I think it is. I think 9Z, where they didn't rotate early enough, they weren't convinced that there was enough at Banana, but I mean, obviously we see more than them, but as soon as the smokes went down, that like confirmed their suspicion that it was a fake. The problem was they got faked by the fake. So IM is going to get 1, but Max will get the kill in return. 13 HP, 3 to find. Shui might only have 1, but it doesn't matter. There's only this round left to go, and 9Z might only have 1 to win in the half. It's 1-14. Gamerlegion absolutely dominant, and yeah, absolutely loving their first time on the stage here in Rio. 9Z not so much. We're going to take a break, see if they can get their thoughts together. Maybe that comeback is on the cards, Jason. I'm not sure I'm convinced.
Hey Future Pros! On Inferno today, and I thought I'd show you how to throw the classic one-way to help you sneak out of the A apartments and maybe find a kill or 2. To throw the smoke, get apps control, then position yourself on the edge of this door. Aim at the lower middle part of the extended bit of the arch. And throw. It's crazy how fast Rain throws his smoke, as this version is a little precise, so give it some practice. Now you have a good chance to crawl out of the apartments and play around the one-way smoke. CTs should usually be playing more passive once the smoke is thrown, but maybe you can find a CT with his pants down.
leagues. So they've got a lot of fans. They've got a lot of new young players that are expecting some big results, but they have never together played in front of a crowd or under as much pressure as they will here today.
I mean, being in Rio is amazing. I've never been here before, and like the place looks so like amazing, and like it looks insane. And I hope the fans is going to be like you know the Brazilians always really like loud, and I hope we're going to hear that at the stage. Knocking out G2 was an insane experience. I don't think they've ever missed a major before, if I'm correct.
They beat G2 to qualify to this event and then completed the hat trick, winning their next match and making their dreams a reality. High hopes for Gamerlegion, but will they meet expectations?
I always chase the feeling to be the champion, always, and I make my boys feel the same. They want to be the champions, they want to be on stage, they want to hear the crowd, so we're going to do whatever we can.
They are coming in, I think, with not that much pressure. A great roster who had to fight for their lives at both of the RMRs this year. And I think, at the very least, again, when they're not going up against another pure Brazilian team, they're going to soak up the energy of the stadium.
Well, the energy from 9Z now, we are literally screaming at our own rooms, like in the practice room, we were like, it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow! So we want that, man. It's going to be amazing.
Well, they may want that, but they're going to have to earn a little bit more because as loud as the crowd has tried to be, they haven't given them much to cheer about. 14-1, Gamerlegion lead this best of one so far.
What a brutal thing to hear out of the mouth of Zach right before we come back into this at a 14-1. They've been so excited for this one, so hyped up, so looking forward to it, and this has been a very difficult start, a very rough start. Backs against the wall. We mentioned those comebacks back at the RMR. This might be a little bit too much. 1-14, a 13-round deficit.
Sit back at New Box. Good start. Exactly what 9Z need. They'll trade off. IEM was able to get in to get DGT, but he's taken out NQZ with the kill that was much required. This could have been a 2-on-2 otherwise. Buddha to plant.
And because of the boost up, they know the second player's here. They know Isaac has already arrived.
Buddha tries to bait him. No one able to swing in. Okay, fair enough, Max. Good shot. I was going to say, just swing and actually... enough, Max. Good shot. I was going to say, just swing and actually deny him access. But accuracy from afar will do the job instead. So a second round 9Z.
Scoreboard be damned. This is what you want a home crowd for, to lift you up at the lowest moments.
And honestly, it's perfect if you're a home team in this event because they're going to cheer no matter what. This was the major they were promised back in 2020. Now they've got it. They've been waiting for the world stage to come back to Brazil, especially a major. So yeah, they're going to be hyped no matter what, Jason. So you've got that going for you. You've just got to give them a little bit, and they'll be there for you.
And that's the knowledge you want if you're 9Z as well, is understanding even when you get absolutely demolished inside the server, you're still going to have the crowd and the fans behind you trying to lift you up for your next game later on in the day. Round 17, second in the second half.
I think that's what I'm most looking forward to at this event in particular. Is that this is a bit of a celebration, and it's going to have a festival atmosphere, I think, in so many ways.
Yeah.
It's going to be a party the whole time for the fans and for everyone here.
Uh-oh, don't do it. Not like this.
This is tough.
Come
this
on,
is
baby.
not what you would have expected. Inside of the smoke, a bit of chaos indeed, because it's Sui that gets 2. Now they'll get back in and control it. Composure, but low HP. David on 20. This Deagle could be absolutely menacing. NQZ as well. 75 HP bomb is to be planted, but he's not confident doing it because no smoke towards CT. And if he peeks out too soon, there's a clear line of sight, not only for this Deagle, but, well, I was going to say for the Scout, he wants to get aggressive and get combative as Isaac's going to swing around with that Deagle. He should have a clean shot to pop out. He's a bit too late, but low HP. This could be doable. They've made this a somewhat winnable situation. 40 seconds, they don't have to overcommit to the bomb plant, so that is somewhat favorable because that means he can't, oh, he can! I was gonna say isolated to one-on-ones, and QZ holds on.
Good for him. It's been a tough game for the sole Brazilian in 9Z. That's a good time to step up. Averting disaster, at least for the moment. Some fine 5-7 work from Shui to get a double kill. Make this possible, but a good recovery out of the madness from 9Z.
right, 2 in a row. Not the most concise way of doing it, but they do it either way. So now, let's see if they can keep building. Get these fans, this crowd really, I don't know, energized for the day. I mean, even if they can't make this comeback possible, Jason, I think, as is the case with those 2 rounds, they just want something to cheer about.
Well, I think, too, like, also, this has been a conversation in the past as well, is the difference between being able to dictate some of the action on the T side versus having to kind of wait for the action on the CT side. It's one of the nice ways to get the nerves behind you is to be able to take the initiative and be able to call where the action is going to come and be able to direct the flow of the action on the T side. And if anything, it is going to get 9Z over the hump for later on in the day for their match in the second half of the day. It's going to be this T side. You're going to want to see them go on a little bit of a run here and really get some of the confidence of playing in this kind of an environment.
Oh, it's so good. They've been telling us to come to Brazil for years, Jason. We finally listened.
Don't forget, too, 9Z, the youngest team in the challenger stage as well.
That's true. I mean, they said that. I know the interview was a bit disheartening, considering they say, don't sleep on us. You know, we've been waiting so long for this and the scoreline at the time. But, yeah, I mean, they did say that. We are the youngest team. We're new to Counter-Strike at this level, especially at this level. Yeah. So they know that they're in that position, and this is definitely a ton of experience they can move forward with, but that doesn't excuse the fact that they want to make this a contest. So 4 rounds now for 9Z, and we'll see if they can capitalize on, I was going to say an early trade. Unfortunately, Shui is able to get back out and find Buddha as well. Back over toward Emo, dark corner. So repositioning as they still put, he was just over the mark. I was gonna say still putting aggression toward the coffins, but sliver gap and David makes no mistake on it.
Yeah, trying to find a sweaty little off angle. It was just a little bit too far out. 3-on-3 in the post plant. Does Gamerlegion want to go for this? Isaac's coming in for the flank, but DJT's gonna nail him. Rip his head clean off, a follow-up smoke, and I think that might be the one. Acor's got an AWP. You might want to back away from this. There's no kits on the Gamerlegion side to make this retake possible.
IEM's pretty committed at this point.
This might be the confidence of the scoreboard prompting them forward.
And it could cost them dearly. DGT puts him down, and Acor was there. He rotated over. He's gone. They're going to surround him. No escape. 5 rounds now for 9Z.
And I mean, look, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here on a 14-5 scoreline still, but this is the exact environment you do not want to let 9Z feel like they can get back in the game in any way. Good win for 9Z. Good recovery as well. Buddha finding the equalizing kill, bringing it back into a 4-on-4. And some fine shooting from 9Z.
See all the fans already, as you say, a lot of 9Z jerseys out there. And obviously a ton of Imperial jerseys as well. I think, man, as much as my heart goes out to Complexity, who started off 2-0 at the America's RMR, with them against Gamerlegion, or excuse me, against Imperial for the last spot, it couldn't have gone any other way. Yeah, a major without Imperial would not have been the same in Rio.
Even as a guy who wants to see every NA team succeed, that would have felt very, very weird if Complexity had overcome and knocked out Imperial before we even got here. They'll be playing later today, a matchup against Vitality for Imperial to start things out. You gotta get through this one first. Good kill from Acor through the smoke and the edge of the hay cart. 5-on-4 for Gamerlegion.
Pull that back, though.
And Buddha again to find the equalizer, and again in Banana.
He's up to 15 kills. Excuse me, 16 kills. It's David on 15, so they are starting to get them. I said in the first half, despite the rounds, nice shot. I know it's pistols, but that's a pretty clean one. That makes you confident in these situations, and now things are starting to add up in their favor. But yeah, despite the scoreline, there was still a few of them that were getting kills and accumulating some damage on the board. So now, this round, despite losing the first player, is pretty clean after that. So they would get the next 5 in their favor to make it a 4-man survival at 14-6. Getting ahead of myself a little bit.
Some of that individual flair from 9Z showing off in this round. Good shooting from Buddha. Another gun round at hand. Acor with the AWP. 2 kits for the CT side, and a timeout is called as well. Gonna try and chill things out, calm things down. Certainly going to be impossible all week. First time out for Gamerlegion. This is the first little bit of resistance they've encountered.
And you mentioned it, the comebacks have definitely been noticed by 9Z at the North American Road to Rio. Saved 2 rounds ago that could have been possible, left them on pistols in the last rounds. And I know it's a long way to go still, but Gamerlegion, you're right, they're aware that this could easily slip away. NQZ is well up now to 9 kills, so starting to get that momentum. Didn't look super sharp on the CT side with the AWP, but we'll see what he can get done now on the attack.
Ooh, aggressive stance from A-Core.
That's risky to be there down there that long.
I like it, though.
Well, normally you'd have a rifle at least to watch that off angle. He went solo on it.
I'm fine with it, with the confidence that he's been playing with recently. Take it, baby. I don't want to say A-Core's had a quiet game because he hasn't had to really do much since Gamerlegion had everything they wanted in the first half, and that op on the T side obviously sometimes can be a little bit quiet, especially when your AKs are finding so much success, but that's a cool way for the Opera to get into things for the CT side. Slow-paced progression up Banana. Just over a minute left on the clock. And 9Z have already picked their final play. It's going to be a set execute towards the B-bomb site. Utility being dropped. I think they want to go back and take bracket controls or some kind of presence in middle when the mid-smoke fades, just to make sure this defense stays honest. Make them second.
Check it out anywhere.
The wings of one. And Torsi very quick on the first, and very quick on the second. He did get dinged, but that doesn't stop it. He's not going to clear it. Torsi, can you believe it? An electronic advancing immediate exchanges. It's simple. Oh, he's had enough. He is going to get another for the fifth. A simple ace, folks, right into our fifth overtime first round.
If you play enough rounds, Simple's going to get one of those. That's going to happen eventually. So a massive round from him, and he's starting this one off.
I can't explain. I can't explain it. I go insane when
It's at it, but a good win from Gamerlegion. We're off to a break, and we'll be back with more Counter-Strike afterwards.
kills everybody. Miku just kills everybody. Another 3 kills. He's pressing forward. He'll find another. On for the ace, his second of the map.
At the right time, Brokey's all trying to deliver, but they're not ready for it. Brokey! A wolf in sheep's clothing, Serato, this could be the round. Oh my god!
Of one, and Torzi very quick on the first, and very quick on the second. He did get dinged, but that doesn't stop him. He's not going to clear it. Torzi, can you believe it? An electronic advancing immediate exchanges. It's simple. He is going to get another for the fifth, a simple ace, folks, right into our fifth overtime first round.
If you play enough rounds, Simple's going to get one of those. That's going to happen eventually. So a massive round from him, and he's starting this one off.
I can't explain. I can't explain it. I go insane when we get naked. Hold me down, never let me go. Take me in, I want you to show. Hold me down, never let me go. Take me in, I want you to show me love. Don't give up on us, don't give up on love. Don't give up.
We thought Gamerlegion may have been the underdogs, but turns out they had a ferocious fight, and the jaws firmly clamped shut over 9Z. We bid farewell to that home ground advantage that we were talking about. A lightning-fast first half match, 14-1 for the side of Gamerlegion. It was just too little too late for 9Z to make that comeback work on the T side.
That first half was a reality check, Freya. It was a reality check for us, for the audience, for everybody. We can hype up the crowd, we can talk about the support, and of course 9Z had a tremendous support from the crowd throughout this game. But there is a reality when it comes to Counter-Strike. If you play worse than your opponent, you're about to lose. The crowd won't save you, not if you're 14-1 down, and Gamerlegion, they handled this first game perfectly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the crowd did its job, right? They're shouting all the time.
They tried.
Yeah, they did their absolute best. At some point, I think the 0-0 Nation went on stage, and then there were a little bit of like shouting for them and stuff like that. But throughout the whole game, like they're shouting for them, and yeah, it's very underwhelming performance from 9Z, right? Like, and surprisingly, like.
Ugly every step of the way, and Maus aren't even going B.
Oh, Norbert's gone. That's it. That might be the game. Flick can't do a thing about it. He's running a rotation. Xerxen through the smoke doesn't even commit. And Frozen has gone freak mode in this game. 22-7. That triple entry up Banana was beautiful, and it's done. 16 rounds to Maus, and they take down the outsiders with ease. Not a competition, not a question. Maus are here to play in Rio.
He's the one stepping up and making the plays, making the difference. Couple of open kills in Banana, couple of open kills towards mid. When your team needs to find the footage, needs to find the momentum, he was the one providing it. And on top of that, of course, cherry on top, beautifully called on the T side. He found the gambles, he found the gaps. Shuin was my MVP as far as this game goes, because as a leader, clean sheet.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's even more impressive the fact that he's an IGL, right? As an IGL, playing your first game at the major and stuff like that, and having to call a great T side, and he was able to not only pull up a good performance, but also call really well on the T side. Like 9Z had no wins, were to anything they did, basically. Like, it was just, yeah, all over it.
He didn't even need his sniper to step up. We see Akor's number right here.
Yeah.
He was relatively quiet. Just to touch on Shui, right? It's a profile that we have to build for the audience as well. He was an academy player in the Mouse NXT session, and he wasn't really picked up to make it to the next level by his own org, right? He's had other players, the JDC, the Torzies of the world, Jerson as well, kind of take his spot and go into the Mouse lineup. And now here he is with Gamerlegion as an IGL, a former academy player, now on the stage of the major.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. The fact that that's his first game in front of the crowd here at the major as well, no less. A huge feat for Gamerlegion to get that 1-0. I do want to spin it back to the point about Akor, though, because Peacemaker, you were bringing up the point that, you know, we would look to him at the RMR as being a huge difference maker for Gamerlegion. I guess this kind of spells good things for the team going forward, that they don't even need what we were arguably saying is their star player to be showing up to win these games dominantly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the fact that they played Inferno, right, and they sat at T-side, it's kind of rough for Alper sometimes on the T side of Inferno, you know, there's not many peaks you can go for and stuff like that. So I guess they were so good strategically speaking, like in terms of like, you know, the way they control Banana, the way they took middle, and they're trading off each other really well. So, you know, it basically wasn't even needed. Like Akor was just there as a support Alper, doing his thing. You know, he didn't play bad at all. It was just like, he didn't have to do anything. Like his teammates were just stepping up and doing everything for him.
In terms of 9Z and kind of perhaps the issues you saw, maybe teething issues, getting used to this new environment, the new atmosphere, playing in front of the crowd as well for the first stage, what would you kind of put down as maybe the biggest issue for them to get that momentum going early on?
I think they got really timid and shy at the very beginning of the game. They tried to take a couple of duels, they got shut down, and then they reverted into a very passive mode that they couldn't handle. They didn't know how to play the passive game. But I want to put a spin on this story. Because if you are a Brazilian representative, South American representative, the thing that you fear the most is go on stage and disappoint people and get smacked. Well, guess what? It happened. That is it. You've been on the stage, you've had everybody behind you, and you got absolutely rolled. And life goes on. And you can show up tomorrow and you can play a better Counter-Strike. So kind of face your nightmare. This is it. You've lived through the worst possible first experience on the stage. You've let everybody down. But life goes on. And you're not afraid of that anymore. You show up tomorrow and you say, you know what? We can do it. It happened. That's fine. So I hope they can put a spin on this and they can bounce back.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point, I guess, for the mentality going forward, maybe to those round 2 matchups as well. Peacemaker, if you're in that situation, obviously being coached a hell of a lot of teams here, what would you be thinking going forward into that second round of matchups then, if you are 9Z? Where are you looking at making those improvements going forward?
I think, first of all, like, they really have to watch this game and see what went wrong, right? I think they had some issues with the Banana control at CT. They tried different approaches and tried to play passive. Didn't feel comfortable for them at all. I mean, they got punished when they tried to go aggressive and all that kind of stuff. So I think the first thing they should do is definitely watch that game. And, you know, having played Inferno, which is used to be a comfortable map for them, and then getting stumped like this in your first match at the major, that could be challenging for them to, you know, mentally reset and understand, like, okay, guys, what happened? Like, are we bad on the map? Or they played great, we didn't maybe do the things we're supposed to do, we didn't play out of our comfortable zone and stuff like that. I think it's very important to understand what happened in this game. Don't overthink it, because like if they go on the road of like, oh, let's not play Inferno again, then suddenly they are, you know, with no map pool. Like, what are we going to play? Like, we're going to basically start banning one of our best maps just because we lost this game?
Yeah.
And that's where I join him, actually. I don't believe that 9Z have a bad Inferno. I don't think that's what happened. I think they showed us the worst that they could on that map. And it's a map they could still replay in the tournament with a different kind of mindset, a different kind of mentality going into this. We talked about being too passive, that's one problem. Too individualistic as well. You know, when you see the scoreline just piling up against you, you're trying to take one-for-one duels. There was no synergy, not playing off of each other. But I don't think it's got nothing to do with the map. It's a problem of how you approach the game. Could have been the case on Dust 2 or Mirage or Overpass. Don't overthink it. Just play better Counter-Strike. Inferno was not the reason here.
Well, despite unfortunately losing their first game here on stage at the IEM Rio Major, we do have the coach with James Banks for a few words after that series.
9Z were unable to take down Gamerlegion. I've got Zach with me here to start off with. Now, opening game, right, that crowd certainly on your side, but did you feel like there was a change in your players, some nervousness? What was going on in that game?
100%. I felt that they were nervous and anxious to play. I think anxious is good, but it can also be very bad for you. I think we lost a pistol round, and that cost us much more of the calmness we had, which was very little. So I think for the first match we were very nervous, but I think the second one was going to be better.
And do you think that this whole thing's a good experience? Because one thing we noticed, right, you've got the one round on the first half, you're down obviously massively at that point, but the whole crowd erupts, it looks good. But then even I'm looking at the camera faces of your players and that you start to think, okay, they're unsure of their decision making. What did you say to them during the first half after you had that break?
Well, I said that we hadn't been there before many times. Like that was the only comeback we didn't make, like 14-1. We did 13-2, but never 14-1. So let's do another one. And you know, they were nervous, but they knew that it was something that could happen in the first match. So they're good for the next one, I think.
I like that. You're still staying confident with it all. Obviously, you won't know who you're facing just yet, but what are you going to do in this next bit of time while you're waiting for the next games? You're going to take some time to relax? You're just going to be able to refocus?
No, actually, we're going to go back to the hotel, and I think we're going to practice a little bit, just a little bit, just to stay in shape, because it's going to be a long day, and we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. We'll keep that grind going. Zach, thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much for that one, Banks. And props to Zach for giving us a few words despite losing out in their opening matchup. But speaking of opening games, we do have another one on the cards coming up very shortly. And as we see on screen, it's Brazilian representation once again. 0-0 Nation are going to be rising to take on the Bad News Eagles, and it's coming up after this.
I do. What else could they have done here beyond just offering up a better defense?
Well, I think that some of the, I really think like this kind of game comes down to some of the individuals where, for example, Kicker's usually the guy that's responsible for outsiders to take banana control, and we could see how well Exertion, how well Frozen did against him, and when you
Sorry, man, I'm laughing because the crowd's going absolutely mental.
Yeah, I mean, too bad. We'll talk about the crowd when we hit the A stream sometime, Paulo.
Yes, absolutely,
But,
and I just...
yeah. I mean, honestly, like, with right now, with the team, with the outsiders, it's just like, I feel like this is just them starting slow in the tournament.
Yeah.
I'm not really too worried about them, honestly.
No, absolutely. Alan, any final thoughts from yourself?
Yeah, I do think what we saw in this game is how outsiders do kind of lack a playmaker. And obviously that Yakindar void hasn't really been filled. Fame and Norbert are very different players. And Kicker is the most aggressive player on this team. And the entries on Banana on T-side, he was 2-12 at the start. And you could just see there was no rounds where they're getting comfortable. And on the flip side, Frozen, Zerjian, we're just having a field day on that side of the map.
Up next, Heku is down on the sidelines for our winners interview. She's got JDC from Mouse. Right, so we are working on that. We, of course, want our audio. We don't want a mime show with Heku and JDC, so we'll be back with that shortly. Guys, would you like to share any other thoughts on this matchup? I'm me personally extremely impressed by Mouse. I know it's just small. Going forwards.
I think when we set expectations for these teams, if we kind of do a bigger zoom out, in this particular matchup, it felt like outsiders were favored because they had that recent Rotterdam win. But in actuality, I think Maus is more likely to make it through this sort of Swiss stage than outsiders. I think they've shown much more promise lately, other than that single tournament. Other than really losing that single BO3 to outsiders, Maus had that top 6 Cologne finish. They seem like they're just getting better and better. They've actually trimmed the fat so much so that it's basically just these academy guys who are kind of dominating that tier 2 space. They were almost ranked as highly as Maus, and so for them to get off on a good start like this, kind of expected maybe, but just not that. It was outsiders that we thought was going to be a trouble for them.
Alan, let's get into your point, but whilst we do that, bring up JDC stats on screen as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Maus, actually the RMRs, did have a lot of problems they definitely could have got 2-0'd by Sangal in that final game and not been here. And kind of the biggest issues for Mouse, I think, are the inexperience of these players and making individual mistakes. And we saw very few of those in this game. So if that trend continues, suddenly you've got a team of great individuals that aren't making errors and a player like Frozen to lead the way. That's a winning combination.
Unfortunately, yeah, we can't get that audio for the JDC Heku interview right now. It will be fixed for our matches going forward, but for now, we don't have the audio. Guys, that'll be pretty much it from us on our first best of one here at IEM Rio Major 2022. Would you like to say anything else before we go to a short break and then get into our second match on the B stream?
Just that I'm excited for everything to come, Paula. I'm sure that this game is also going to be pretty exciting in its own unique way.
Crowd is wild, and when they actually start winning some rounds for the local teams, they'll be even more crazy.
This is what's insane, though, just to go on from what Alan is describing. So, Gamerlegion and 9Z just played. To put it bluntly, 9Z got obliterated, right? Gamerlegion destroyed them, but anything that 9Z did, the crowd went insane. So yeah, truly the atmosphere here is incredible. For us though, on the B stream, up next, it's going to be OG versus Greyhound. That is a very interesting matchup of Counter-Strike, and we'll be back to give you a pre-match breakdown shortly after this quick break.
Love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
This world is slowing down. How can I fight it? How can I listen?
I think they need to be soldiers together, and that's what they've shown us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like they have shown this kind of like a brotherhood kind of thing in the team,
absolutely.
right? And not only that, but I was even thinking that, you know, if they're not playing against a Brazilian team right now, I think those are the guys that, you know, the crowd is going to love them. Just because of the passion they put into the game, you know, the energy they have. I think, yeah, as you said, like they're kind of like Brazilians, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, it truly is a pack mentality for B&E coming forward. But for the side of 0-0 Nation, I think what is so special about this team is the fact that we have Taco and Coldzera, huge veterans of the Brazilian scene, taken to the stage today.
I think that the symbolic of that team is beautiful. It's the past reaching out and holding the hand of the future. That's what's happening. It's players who've been and still are legends of the games, taking on new prospects, mentoring, tutoring them for the future. It's the likes of Taco, Coldzera, of course. Coldzera, arguably the greatest player Brazil's ever had in Counter-Strike, but now having to transition into a new role. He isn't the absolute lights-out, super hard carry that we've all loved to see. Now he's got players around him that he needs to mentor, and I think he's been doing great with his 0-0 Nation, and that's why I'm excited about this project.
Yeah, for sure. I think that people also I think some people undervalue a little bit the value like of Code to this team, you know, because as you said, he changed his
I'm good Counter-Strike.
And in terms of the game you've got today against Bad News Eagles, would you say they remind you a bit of this Brazilian style? They play so aggressive, so fast-paced?
Yes, they are definitely a team that plays very, very aggressive. But that's something that we are not used to. I would say that they have a play style very similar to Brazilian. And it's going to be a very difficult game.
So you say it's going to be a difficult game, but do you feel like you've got a good read on it? You've got a good game plan to take them out?
Yes, we had after the RMR, we played the Blast qualifiers, and then we had some extra time to watch their demos and go over their game and the way they like to play. So we could prepare very well for this game, and we know what to do. The game plan is already on everybody's head, and they just want to join the 7 now and pop some heads.
Well, let's see that happen, Taco. Thank you very much, bro.
One thing is for certain, this is going to be an absolute brawl coming into the arena. We can see the map and bands rolling on down the bottom of the screen. Obviously, the best of one coming into things. We've spoken about kind of the veteran side of 00 Nation. Any of the newcomers that you want to put under the spotlight?
Well, I like that you asked the question, Freya, because I think that the limits, I think the horizon is set by the young stars of 00 Nation, and this is how we can assess that team. We're going to have Vertigo as a map coming in, but Dumao and Try are the two players who are going to set the path for 00 Nation. As simple as it is. If these two find their momentum, they find their groove here at the major, suddenly I think we could be just limitless in what we see from 00 Nation. But if they falter, if they get shy, if they get timid, fragile, that might be a complicated event.
Yeah, for sure. I would even highlight like Dumao, you know, I think just because of the role he has in the team. I think the thing with these two young players is that at least so far they have been putting up really good numbers. Like they have been stepping up their game in every single series that I saw. So having those two young players shining all the time while having the experience on Cold Zero, Taco, you know, that does help Taco on calling a lot better because he knows that, you know, he's not going to need to do anything crazy and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just impressive.
Do you think the home crowd is going to be treating 00 Nation slightly differently, maybe a slightly different outcome than what we saw versus 90 earlier?
I think they're going to be just that and more. I think they're going to be 100% with 00 Nation. Every single kill a 00 Nation will find, BNE will be screamed at. And I've had the pleasure as a player to be against the crowd. It's not something that I wish for you to be in there. So I hope they got the shoulders, they got the nerves for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, we can already hear the crowd is going
It's insane.
Right?
The game hasn't even started yet, and they're already absolutely chanting their hearts out. I hope they keep their voices quelled, though, because we've got a hell of a lot more Counter-Strike coming up. I just want to ask quickly, Peacemaker, for BNE coming into Vertigo, anything that you're particularly looking at for that particular team?
No, I think that like they, for 00 Nation, they barely played Vertigo in the past 3 months, right? So they do have this surprise factor in their favor in terms of like, you know, I don't think Bad News Eagles had too much preparation to rely on, you know, while on the other hand, 00 Nation probably has a lot to go on. So I think that does give them an advantage. And to be honest, like these players usually perform really well on Vertigo, like for 00 Nation. So I'm expecting a really close game and a really fun match, yeah.
Well, Vertigo is going to be the map that's coming to fruition between 00 Nation and Bad News Eagles. Sadie Costa might not be super happy about that one, not being part of the Vertigo gang, but definitely nothing to be sad about coming into this matchup. It's 00 Nation taking on BNE. Guys, take it away.
Yeah, the Vertigang's got nothing on the Tuscany cartel, baby. We're going to take it all down. It's coming our way. But yeah, I'll put up with it, all right? Because we've got two of the iconics, the legendary Brazilians that have brought this scene so much. Taco and Cold Zero in the server in Rio.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's an absolutely beautiful thing. Let's see what they've got in store for us, surrounded by some young Brazilians as well. Against the Bad News Eagles, Pistol Round is live here on Vertigo. Things starting off slow, things starting off calculated. As Double Nation wants to see if there's going to be any aggression from the CT side, nothing as of yet. So calm before the storm.
Later we'll go over and try. We'll work with him toward the ramp. One Flat True is the one that's tasked with spotting this out immediately. BNE, another team that was quite impressive on the road to Rio in Europe. Put up some big numbers in games I don't think people would have expected much from them. Obviously, not their first time. to a major one. Flat Trio is still spotting, still trying to see if anyone's going to come here. Very slow take so far from Double O Nation.
Yeah, they're making sure they don't miss any details. Here's going to be a little flashbang from Taco just to take the angle away from Juan Flatro. Ooh, a little bit of damage done. He's going to start backing away. Here's the footsteps. And Double O Nation now starting to apply a little bit of pressure, but there's a trap set up behind Sandbags. Good Molotov, but GXX has got a better headshot.
Huge kill from GXX because Try was waiting. He pushed Juan Flatro back. He had the position at scaffolding, but as soon as GXX went down, that was when Juan Flatro knew he would have to turn his attention back in that direction, and Juan Flatro's going to catch Taco out. Saneri gets Cold Zero. Both of those players gone. It's all on Dumao. That was a really well-timed retake toward that scaffold position on the back of GXX's kill, and Bad News Eagles will take the opening round. Good shot by Rigon to confirm it.
Yeah, really well done. Really well done from Bad News Eagles, holding their nerve. That is a beautiful sight for day one of the Challenger stage. Absolutely magnificent. We've got it all. Now we just need the Brazilian teams to win. 1-0. And a complete investment for Double O Nation. Tech9's Deagle's utility as well. Famas going to slow things down. Disorganize the hit just a little bit. Lado doesn't want to turn the corner, takes his time with it. Oh man, the covering fire from the Tech9s, and Taco's found the opening.
Good shot from Taco. Getting back away as well, running and gunning with the Tech9. The damage is there. Bomb's going to get planted for Double O Nation. They've got a chance to capitalize on this. Smokes could actually let these pistols get so close and so punishing. Taco's going to get a reload in, but we already saw that Lato's pushed up as well. And I think you're absolutely right. I think they have to back off of this. They haven't got a kill yet. Oh, Synopsis in such a tough position. They jump in. Rigon takes away the aggro. That means they can push. Good shot, Taco, but he's only good for one. Try is going to double up on that, and now the advantage. Look at the HP. This is done. Double O Nation going to tie it immediately.
They absolutely will. Another kill for Cold Zero to close out the round, and Double O Nation steal round 2. That's a round of utility. A very simple, easy hit to gain space up the stairs. The follow-up utility at the electric box of the generator locks out the retake, allows the Tech9s to get close up. And the danger of those Tech9s behind the smoke makes it so tough for BNE to start the retake. Perfectly played. And a good opening from Taco. Look how fired up he is right out of the gate. 1-1.
GXX down already. Tries going to find him. Flash and smoke. Didn't matter. He knows the angle. He can hear him coming the whole time. M4 sits on the ledge. Cold Zero, AK in hand, is the next to try and challenge this ramp position. Oh, we'd love to get vintage Cold, wouldn't we? Good boost up. Synopsy able to sit back on this. Waiting for a chance. Goes off a bit early, though. Try was already looking. They might go back to it, expecting that eventually they are going to show themselves in this position. And he gets taken down immediately. Try finds it. One step ahead of Synopsy the whole time. Saneri's going to push down, though. That does get one kill back, and a flurry of frags come in because Rigon's able to strike. So is Juan Flatro. The timing is everything, and they'll steal the round right back in their favor.
Oh, that is a gut punch. That is a gut punch because Double O Nation, it seemed like they were getting what they wanted. Bad News Eagles just converges at the point of attack, and they swarm. So many bodies. Double O Nation never expected this much resistance. Never expected this amount of players to be taking fight after fight. And a great double kill from Juan Flatro to put him in the advantage. 2-1.
Lado looking for a chance. He's going to be aggressive this time, try and get ahead of the chaos that Bad News Eagles started in the last round, as it was complete crossfires in every single position.
Ooh, here we go. They got space. They got space. Oh, no one has any idea. They have no clue but Juan Flatro. Oh, he slid over to the other side, and they didn't realize it equally. That was actually such a dangerous round. What a good recovery.
I'm surprised Dumont actually stopped up. I know he took a couple of crossfired shots or drive-by shots as they get into the site. Good bomb plant. That'll at least give them the money, but this is an easy retake. I actually expected him to swing CT with the pace that he went in there with.
You either have to look left and you find that player kind of at the default boxes. You either need to commit to that fight or you swing and you hard clear to the right.
Yeah, he just gave him a warning, right?
Lost himself a little bit in the play, but the space was there. Yeah, he's just a little bit scared of actually committing to that fight at the range with the Tech 9 and was overexposed.
And even
to
if
the
you
player
call,
in CT spawn.
Even if you call the player default box, your second man in is going to take that fight if you want to swing. So
yep.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Either way, it's 3-1 now for Bad News Eagles. With the bomb plant coming in, not enough money to go on top of that to complement the buy. So they'll be left on pistols again, 0-0 Nation. But it's Eagles for everyone with the exception of Try, who holds on to the bomb at this point in time.
3-1, and Bad News Eagles get a chill. They know after converting consecutive rounds, they've got the economic advantage. They know it's got to be back to pistols. Not a close enough round 3 to warrant a buy. Excuse me, not a close enough round 4 to warrant a buy from Double O Nation. And Regon's going to get aggressive around the smoke. Oh, good transfer over. Does eventually fall, but he's got himself a double kill. And Lado is left in a 1v4.
Try and get some shots on the Deagle.
Ooh,
that's one of them.
I believe it's Keota here in Brazil.
All right. Well, KO'd indeed as Lado does pick up the M4, but too many players to fire at. Looks down below, and one Flattree is able to swing up high as he does so. So 4-1 now for B&E. Crowd is built for this game naturally with Double O Nation being on the stage.
Some of their favorite sons
yeah, absolutely.
in the lineup, yeah.
Just after noon here now, in fact. We're 12:25 local time. So more and more people getting to the stadium, and for good reason. Taco holding on underneath the smoke has actually got there quite quickly. I don't know if they'll be fully aware of this. He's going to go for this quick Molotov on top of the close position. So when Flatcher's going to be forced off of that, has to smoke it. Can't overcommit to chasing that, though, because good follow-up position by Sineri.
Good piece of utility forced out, though, by the Molotov from Taco, especially considering they're at such a deficit in that department in this round. Look at the counter nades. Bad News Eagles want to retake and maintain this position. Flashbang to peek up over the boards and down the stairs. They see nothing, but plenty of bodies here. Sineri lured back, lured himself into a double kill, and Juan Flatro adds a third.
Still, though, they managed to get 2 back. The fact that he got 2 on that was a good peak, but they've opened up a bit of space for themselves to try and work toward this B site. They're not going to go with pace, though.
Ooh,
missed Molotov by Cold. 2 players on this side. They could have tried to pump the brakes on this. They could have tried to rotate them back over, utilize the ladder even, and go toward middle, but GXX, AWP, no mistake, Try goes down, Cold 0. We're going to need some vintage Cold right now if he wants to win this one out.
I don't know he's here.
Yeah, I was going to say they have no idea, but GXX on the angle is going to find it. So 5-1 indeed. I think we know which side the crowd is for in this one, Jason.
Yeah, we do. Well, I think the crowd is still waiting to have that kind of loyalty and that kind of energy rewarded. Quite yet. A flat opening game with 9Z getting trounced by Gamerlegion. And an early deficit for Double O Nation now as Bad News Eagles. I mean, this is the style that we all know they love to play, in your face. They don't want to give up ground. They're going to come right back at you, not afraid of anything. They play no respect Counter-Strike until you force them to respect you. And at the moment, Double O Nation have not quite done that yet. Back to Tech 9s in a P250. Remember as well, so much of the emphasis on Taco and Cold Zera due to their pedigree. But outside of that, a very inexperienced 3 players along with them.
But that is the rebuild that Brazil's been in.
Yeah, Brazil is a region. It's been very clear these last few years. The old stars are fading. It's time for the new blood to step up, and that's been part of the charm or the rise of Furia. Now it's about who's going to follow Furia's footsteps.
Well, and having this, experience of Taco and Cold is going to help fortify some of that future talent. But right now, that doesn't matter. Right now, what matters is getting kills against P&E. Again, they'll get dismantled at mid as Synopsy finds 2. Good shot from Triad at range. Unfortunately, they already had too many players inside of the site to swarm on Taco, who couldn't capitalize on that opening pick when they did arrive. And it's all on Doomau. Tech 9 in hands. And he's going to reposition just to see if he's being flanked, but they'll continue to hold the front of the site. It does have the bomb to work with, but I don't know with 30 seconds he has the goal to try and rotate that back over and hope for an optimistic plant.
Kill's the name of the game, right? Limit the economic growth. Limit what you can from the money building up behind Bad News Eagles. Unfortunately, they already know his position, so he's not catching anyone off guard. 17 seconds left on the clock. He's going to go down here to the position from Synopsy, who's got the final frag, and it's 6-1.
And 3 kills for Synopsy in the round as well, so he's looking sharp as always.
Yeah, 7 for Sceneri, 10 for Juan Flatro, who's had himself a good game as well to start things out in these first 7 rounds of play. Timeout taken from Double O Nation with this deficit. Want to talk things over. Cone gets chucked off the side of the building.
Even the Cones had enough of Vertigo.
Yeah, they went out. They're like, get me out of here.
I'll stop. I'll back off. For now.
For now.
So a 6-1 scoreline, another slow start on stage for the South Americans. But at least have 1 already to accumulate, and now they'll be back on rifles in this particular round. Dumas yet to buy. He'll join his teammates with the AK-47 and a decent amount of utility as well. They've got 4 Molotovs and 5 smokes. On top of that, a single nade and a bunch of flashes to work with. They're going to use the first smoke already to try and get toward those B stairs. Sceneri is the one up above it. He's going to drop a nade down. That'll do damage onto coldzera. I spent the entire last 2 weeks studying nade damage, Jason.
Oh yeah, you ready? You're prepared?
No, I'm not. No, I'm kidding.
You had a rough time of it during the road to Rio.
I have no idea how someone didn't edit together a compilation of that, because it was quite ridiculous. All of Pro League and the road to Rio.
Yeah, it was a tough 6-week stretch for you.
So the boost up for Dumas instead. A lot of commitment toward this B side of the map so far for 0-0 Nation.
It's a passive defense here as well. With utility, they should be able to have some space turning around these corners. Sceneri's first contact at Generator, making sure they can't close this gap. That's an important kill. He's not actually trying to stop the plant. He's not actually trying to peek too much into bomb site. He's making sure if they need a retake, they have the avenue for it. Unfortunately, that kill from Taco is going to take that option away from him.
Big miss from Cold on that pitch slow to react on the gray screen when Flatcher only took a single bit of damage from that AK try. Going back around, Regon, who's got more patience. And he knows there's got to be something around here. He's going to go in and make no mistake on it. GXX, meanwhile, though, found Taco. Lotto, not efficient, but does get the kill. One Flatcher, the damage was there. He's able to collect, and now they have the advantage, but they're trying to find Synopsy, who's nowhere to be found.
Nowhere even close. He might have
DC.
perhaps crashed.
He did DC.
I was going to say.
Yeah, his hands were off the keyboard. He was at ramp the whole time, so they'll get one on that. The tech wasn't called. I'm just going to look back. There was nothing. There was a stop called, but I think it was too late in the round. I didn't see any reaction to that, so they'll call a tech. That one's going to stand. Double O Nation will take their second.
Yeah, that's a rough one to swallow, but still a pretty convincing hit from Double O Nation. At the end of the day, it might not have mattered, but still, you're going to feel like one was stolen from you if you're Bad News Eagles.
It's a tough one to debate, right? It depends on when he arrives on this retake.
I didn't see exactly when he crashed in the round either.
Taco's kill was actually pretty massive toward the AC because that allowed coldzera to slide up, but Cold missed a shot there. There's no question he was a bit slow on that. Those are things from coldzera in his prime he would never miss, so he's got to get those figured out because that was a really good take and crossfire setup.
Yeah, he's going to be a big engine for this team to overcome some of the inexperience on his 3 teammates who haven't been in these situations. That was a rough one to drop. You're exactly right. Taco's kill. His second opening kill in similar situations. He had the opening kill in the Tech 9 round number 2. Yeah, Double O Nation actually won. So Taco's doing a good job on those entries towards the B bomb site. We're going to get a little bit of a delay in the action as everyone's waiting for the 5th player to rejoin the server.
Synopsy should be back pretty quickly. I hope he had his headset off. Obviously was communicating with the admins. Totally allowed for him to communicate with him or the coach, or you can communicate with the admin what the issue is. You can't obviously communicate amongst yourselves during a timeout period. And with this much passion in the building, it's going to be so hard for some of these coaches to remain composed during these rounds as well. As remember at the Valve Major, coaches have to be pretty silent.
They have to relax.
Chill's a good word. I hope that gets lifted at some point in time. But should get ready to get back underway soon.
Man, I mean, what a position these tech balls is. You just have to sit there quietly and just experience the energy being chucked your way. 6-2 lead for Bad News Eagles. If you're just joining us, this is the opening day of the IEM Rio Major. here on the mainstream. We had Gamerlegion blow out 9Z in the first game. There was a B stream going on as well. Simultaneous matches here at IEM Rio. Mao's won their opening match against Outsiders as well on the B stream.
Yeah, absolutely. And Outsiders, best of ones, okay, they're not always the strongest in those. I'm not worried for them yet dropping down into that bracket already. I think they'll be fine. They lose the second one and go 0-2, okay, maybe different story, but I think they're look, not as worried about them as, let's say, I am with 9Z being in that bracket, and it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable for them.
Second match going on right now in conjunction with this one on the B stream is OG taking on Greyhound. OG with a very tough getting to the major experience for that organization. A very emotional qualification for them.
Yeah, no question about that. Up 4 right now. You can even squad stream on Twitch, Jason.
Oh my lord, you can do it all.
I think the options there even on mobile nowadays. It just gives you a little pop-up saying click this, and then you can watch them both. It's pretty sweet, the squad streaming. You just click back and forth on which one you want the audio from. So, you know, if you want to go round to round, literally, you can just do that.
Beautiful.
Rather than having to alt-tab and mute or switch monitors, whatever the case may be.
Did you do your pick'ems, Matthew?
I have never, ever in my life done a pick'em. Actually, I should say believe it or not, but no, you definitely would believe it.
Yeah, I definitely believe it.
I did think about it for this event, because I was like, all right, look, I've got time, I can log in, and then I went, you know what? Why start now?
Yeah, I was going to say, at this point, it's principle of the matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
as you say, Jason, I'm the contrarian.
Yeah, you are. You are the eternal contrarian. I was going to, work that into a whole thing. Greyhound has obviously been a very popular pick for the 0-3 of the pick'em that OG is going up against, but, you know, you can't throw me a bone as you haven't done it, so.
No, I couldn't. Look, I don't know why I haven't. It would be nice to have those coins on my.
That's right. We'll get it for the legend stage, Matt. I'll sit you down. We'll do it together.
But they need to make it more challenging, because it would be too easy for me. I would just, you know, like, what's it going to do? Add value to my account that I have diamond status every single time?
True.
You know.
Yeah. Let the little people have some.
If they have to let me pick scores for each and every game, okay, then we're talking.
Then we're cooking with gas.
Yeah, exactly.
6-2, back into the action. Tech Pause had a tactical timeout taken from Bad News Eagles. Right out of that, probably the coach saying, calm down, don't worry about it. Juan Flatro is going to continue his tear, a double kill. Second one through smoke, cleaning up the dink. Oh, and he's going to add a third. That is so phenomenal.
Yeah, that is a shutdown. Straight out of the Tech timeout after a win from 0-0 Nation, looking to finally put 2 rounds in succession together. Try, he's going to double it up. 1 on 5, though. This would be huge. Has a bit of smoke. There's going to be a flank coming in naturally with the timing on this. Oh, he's read it. He's read it well. He does the damage, but couldn't quite hit it. We're going down to 3 HP. Hits that. If he's able to jump off the ledge and reset the round slightly, you give him a chance in that.
Yeah, you give him a puncher's chance, wouldn't you? That could have been interesting.
This was so fast, though.
Yeah, what a sequence. And even time to reload and time to get ready for that third fight. Cold air around the smoke, can't get it done. Good double kill here as they line up for him, but a near impossible situation to be in. 7-2, and you're exactly right. A huge win for Bad News Eagles out of the tech issue, out of the timeout as well. Back on track immediately.
Ooh, Taco's just going to go through this. He wants to take advantage of the MAC-10. Flash timing absolutely annihilates him. As he came around the corner, all he could do was pre-fire and hope for the best. Rigon's going to take down Cold, who's been very cold so far to start this game. Only 2 kills so far for him. Same with Dumau, for that matter, and he's going to get removed right now by Synopsy, who equals that total in this round alone, as he's done so many times, so many multi-kills for Synopsy to start off this series.
Bad News Eagles is looking on point. Individually, these guys are accurate at the moment, and they are confident.
Did his score... No, I guess it did reset after the rejoin. I say so many multi-kills. He has a 3-kill round, then a 2-kill round, but he only has the 5 kills total, Synopsy.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a reset there on the scoreboard you're looking at. Look at the one on the main screen, Matthew. You're looking at the Go TV. You're looking at our fancy side monitors for the minimap.
All right, hang on. Let me, you surprise, here we come. Okay,
nope,
now
he's got 5 here too.
It's making me scroll.
I was
going to say it's 5 and 5. Yeah.
All right, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Try is going to open things up. Good kill on Oregon with the AWP. That's on the other side of the map, away from our vision.
The deaths were correct, right? That was the giveaway, Jason, because he only rejoined last round.
Okay.
And he has 5 deaths.
Nice.
So it had to be correct.
Had to be.
We're not very good at deductive reasoning.
No, we're not.
But that's why we just talk about what's in front of us. It's great.
Exactly.
Now we're going to go back around.
I'm just trying to throw him a bone. Like, yeah, he'd certainly have over 5 kills.
I thought you were trying to throw me one, to be honest, but I guess it's not all about me. Good anticipation from Bad News Eagles. They put the pressure toward mid again early on, try and combat Double O Nation. This is an interesting decision to put 2 here, but that's why one of them has a smoke already at the sandbags.
And if a Molotov goes here, you put it out, and I think one player aggressively swings
And
to
the other
try and
sits.
show the escape, and the other waits, lies in wait. Now, there's only one Molotov. That's on Lado. We'll see where he puts it. Synopsy is going to get a little bit wider with an off angle, blinded, and back towards sandbags we go.
Yep, here it is. So the smoke's going to go down. I think you're right. They'll just sit there. Cold Zira, he finds the first. Sonari does try and get aggressive on it, and they are waiting. They are waiting the whole time. Lado's got one already. Can't follow it to find the second. And it is Dumao, and he has no idea. This is a well-called play, well spotted by you. One Flatcher just sits, and allows them to walk into a trap because that bomb down, they've got a pinch from both sides, and he knows he's got to be there. 9-2.
What a great defense. What a great defense from Bad News Eagles. They hold top of the ramp. The main thrust of the attack is coming in around scaffolding. And when they eventually get the space after taking down GXX, they're just not ready. They're not prepared for all the bodies fighting from the top of the ramp at a different angle than they were ready for. That's huge defense for Bad News Eagles. Look at this, 2 players they have to contend with, and still the third Juan Flatcher who gets this last kill. How are you ever supposed to read that if you're Double O Nation? An AK-47 on Cold Zera and 4 Deagles to surround it. Double O Nation having a very rough time on Vertigo T side.
So far, no question. Synopsy's going to take out Cold Zera. Another one for him, and the round going their way, looking like a 10-2 start. Bad News Eagles can certainly be, I think, a dark horse in this one. I think in the entire event, not just the challenger stage, I think they've been putting in a lot of work and looking really sharp so far.
I think they got a lot of people, regardless of who they're fans of, rooting for Bad News Eagles to do some good things at this event as well. And a very compelling story going back to some of the previous performances at the majors back at the Antwerp, as they burst onto the scene and showing improvement heading into Rio here. 10-2, 8-round lead for Bad News Eagles.
Took out 4s and a 2-1 to qualify in their final match of the RMR to be here. Did drop to Spirit 2-0, but remember, they also absolutely obliterated Astralis 16-3. And I know, yeah, Astralis aren't here, and for good reason. They didn't deserve to be. They didn't play like they deserved to be, but that is still a huge scoreline for an underdog in that situation.
It's massive. Had to have felt great. Has to feel even better building upon it. Taco again trying to have some influence. Can't find a clean fight. He's had the 2 opening kills in the 2 rounds that Double O Nation have won. His entry kills have provided the 2 victories, the 2 sole victories.
So Taco will call that there's one at mid because he actually saw that bounce off the skybox. So he knows exactly where that Molotov came from. I don't know if Saneri spotted him there. Okay, he might have, because the late nade suggests he does. Yeah, the Molotov going down.
Bad News Eagles have really been challenging these beast stairs quite frequently, especially when you consider both round wins for Double O Nation happen at that bomb site. Here's Bad News Eagles just saying, okay, look, if you're going to win 2 rounds here, we're just going to prevent you from ever truly attacking this site.
And the ramp hasn't looked composed. You go back to the last round, sure, they have that sneaky smoke play behind the sandbags, but you also go back to the round where it was pistols, round 4, and they get absolutely caught out by it. Great dink. That's good information as well. Not only did they hear the damage, but they know there's a player there. So Rigon's got to be a lot more careful in how he chooses to position himself in defense. He's actually going to get slightly more aggressive and play an off angle at the crane. And a flash from Synopsy to try and activate him in this spot as they do get closer and closer to the top of the site and the top of the ramp. Flash out, Rigon goes. He's in for 2 with that HP. Lotto finally puts him down. That is a massive play, set all the while. And not only, even if he'd gone down, not only does he get the kills, he gets the information, and the rotations are on. GXX is unaware that they are in behind his position, but it won't matter. What Flatshot's going to put down.
Time's done.
Dumao, and you're absolutely right. No time to plant. They clean it up 11-2.
Man, Bad News Eagles is playing such a good game. They're not giving any real clean looks to Double O Nation in the start of this round, in the early going of these rounds. So, I mean, that time it's just so little utility when Double O Nation eventually pulls the trigger on that A bomb site. Perfect line of sight for GXX with the AWP. And off the back of this double kill, Double O Nation wasn't set up, wasn't ready for it whatsoever. Lockdown defense at the moment for Bad News Eagle, and another timeout is called by Double O Nation. It's their second used.
rightfully so. Use these up early. Double O Nation, definitely. I mean, Furia, I think, in my opinion, has the best chance of all the Brazilian teams right now. That goes without saying. They've been playing at the top tier for a while. I think Art has really brought something dynamic to that team, especially has reinvented himself again within that aggressive sort of style that he has, and they've looked sharp lately. I think at Pro League, sure, they finished third in the group because Liquid was able to beat Cloud9.
Yep.
But I think they actually were the second best team in that group to Cloud9 in a lot of ways. And I genuinely think that they have a great chance of making it through to the playoffs of this entire major. But Double O Nation has to be one of the two favorites in terms of fanfare, with Imperial obviously and the Legends being there. I say Legends in terms of the legendary, the romantic style, not the literal term. I've got to be careful with that one.
Not the stage of the tournament. Well, speaking of the Double O Nation boys, they need these last 2 rounds. They need some space to work with. They need some room in the second half to mount a comeback. 2 is not going to be enough. And again, limited by utility, limited by weaponry. 4 Galils, excuse me, on the board. And not really a whole lot of nades to work the map in any kind of realistic fashion. This almost has to be, like, having this much control towards A ramp is phenomenal for them, but this has almost got to be like the execute point with what little nades they have.
Flatcher looking for an angle and a place to get aggressive. He's going to leap to the ladder and work his way down. This could be massive if he's able to sneak in behind. They're looking for it, though. They've got an inkling. They've got a hunch. And Taco takes out one Flatcher. And this is something we have to talk about. The crowd's not saying anything specific. Just by making noise and creating that level of anticipation, this is normal at LAN, but a lot of the younger players at this major are going to have to catch on quickly as to how to use that and lose against that. There's information you can take away and work it to your advantage.
Absolutely, part of the inexperience factor. Well, they're going back to the B bomb site. 2 players defending. This is perfect for Bad News Eagles, but a missed shot. Still 1 more, but how much can Cineri do? Not enough as Lado grabs the angle. Synopsy, they've got money. They can go for, I mean, he's going to have to go for this. He's not getting away. 1v3, dropped by Lado. 3rd round for Double O Nation. That might have been, I like the play from Juan Flatro, and he's got a lot of confidence with the way he's been playing. In a 5v5, that might have been a bit early to go for that much of a play.
And again, I know they have great noise cancellation and whatnot. There's still ways you can feel the crowd, and you're going to hear a slight rumble, and you can immediately tell that they turn backwards. Okay, nothing's happening. We're not pushing anything. So why is the crowd getting hyped? Someone might be pushing us. And it's some of those situations where one Flatcher goes aggressive all the way. Sometimes you want to get aggressive and then stop and wait. And let the crowd be loud and just hold your angle because you've already got yourself somewhat close to the position. But again, this is something that's been common at LAN forever, and it's something that the inexperienced players are going to have to learn very quickly here in Rio. Because remember, this is just the challenger stage and the crowd's already this loud. Wait until we get to the main event.
Day 1, game 2. Oh, Rigon, it took him a second to really accept the fact that someone was on his screen. He gets the kill, try with the trade back. Into a 4-on-4 we go.
Taco's going to go gather the bomb and group with his teammates to try and make this work, though. More action and aggression from Synopsy. Another double from him. He may not have the most amount of frags, in fact, bottom of the scoreboard for his team, but when he gets one, it seems he always finds a second to complement it, and Taco trying to get aggressive. GXX is limited to just the pistol. Good read from Taco. You can run back up that ramp all you want, but he finds the off angle above the boxes instead, and it's one Flatro trying to get forward of utility and catch them out if they think they have access to the site. They do not.
He's done it, but Dumal's going to slow play this. I don't think Juan Flatro's going to expect it. Now the timer. He's got to look both directions. Oh, good headshot. Good spin, and can't find it. Taco, 3 kills in the round, and no more kill than this last one.
30 seconds, he goes for the bomb plant. Cineri gets inside of the smoke already. He's got both angles covered off. Cineri has it covered. Indeed, the shin shows, and it's enough to make this now a 12-3 half. They'll get the defuse, and they will diffuse the situation in the crowd as well because they'll go silent once more, Jason.
Yeah, it's going to be halftime. We're going to take a break. Bad News Eagles the good. Yeah, it's going to be halftime. We're going to take a break. Bad News Eagles the good first half, 12-3, and we'll return to see the conclusion here on Vertigo.
Imperial are number 1, 00 Nation are number 2. They've got a pair from the former SK Luminosity lineup that won those 2 majors in Taco and Cold, and they are going to be fighting for their lives in the arena.
I think our goal was just to qualify for this stage. For us, like we don't put too much expectations. We just want to build the team step by step. We don't want to put too much pressure on our shoulders, and at the end we're gonna regret this. So like for now, we just want just to keep step by step. We're just growing. Each match we're gonna grow in something and just get more experience. But our goals is just to do our best and try to qualify.
To say that they could win the whole thing may be a little bit far-fetched. I'm not going to try to sell you a bridge, but there still is going to be hope for them to maybe get through the challenger stage with some of the teams that we didn't expect making it all the way to Legends. So the Bad News Eagles, a team hailing from Kosovo, looking to take flight here at the Rio Major. They made their first debut appearance at majors at the last one, at PGL Antwerp 2022, and what a show it was. You know, a lot of people were betting against them, and they honestly only impressed. But again, for a lot of these teams who are now repeats for 1 or 2 times, it can't be good enough to simply get out into the group stage. And we saw them play at the EU RMR. They were playing extremely hard the entire way through, and I think they are one of the teams to be feared here at Rio. So they've got a kind of a unique situation where they're one of the only teams that have bootstrapped their way into kind of creating an org for themselves.
That true blueness exclusive. I call that the Trap Core Quest featuring Q-Tip. I do this coming out the wazoo with newness, shocking these con artists with the ruthless. Pioneers laid the foundation with the blueprint. All you gotta do is what you feel. Ain't no rules to this dish. We hostile, so when you see smoke coming out my nostrils, I'm about to breathe fire through my tonsils. Dock you, your opinions are not the gospel. If you ain't holding the door open, then you an obstacle. Baby Bam spitting out the wop bobbaloo. Without a DJ, none of these jams will be possible. I walk tall, carry a big staff, and when I go back to the home of hip hop, they call me Af. You don't see me where I'm at in the lab, with memories on my mind that never could be gentrified. You get down. Seen rock fights turn into gunfights, but now we rock mics. I used to roll dice, but now my flow's tight. I got some cold rights to hold me down till my dough's right. Back on the road, I tell myself this is your life, your life, your life, your life. Whether I'm at the bottom or top billing, I still got a ghost face, kill it. Don't catch feelings, as long as my milk is chilling. If not, then bam, make 'em run DMC, cause you be illin'. Real talk, I got so much funky ish inside my brain. Black thought, how many years these brothers been up in the game? Support, just drop the beat.
Town favorites just complete backs against the wall. What a devastating first half to have to go through. Coldzera with the dualies, looking for him. So many bullets, ready for Scenario to come through. It's an opening kill in the pistol round. What more? Taco, gushed, forced back. A lot of pressure being applied by Bad News Eagles. Synopsy's got a double, and there goes Taco. And what are you supposed to do if you're tried? Oh, just
okay.
that. Yeah.
Give it a try. How about that? He can try all he wants. He's got 2. GXX gets him down, but Coldzera steps in, and here we go on the flag. Rigon's going to take him down, and that's going to close out the round 13-3. Cold thought he had one step ahead by dropping back out of the sight. Unfortunately, that's exactly where Rigon was waiting.
Yeah, hard to read that. Man, again, you mentioned in the first half, Synopsy, whenever you see his name come up on the board, there's another one to follow it.
Well, that's what blows me away, is because you press tab, and he's the bottom of the team. Like, when you see his name up there, you'd think he's killing everyone.
Yeah,
because
quality, not quantity.
Dude, it's instant doubles, like, every single time. He's like the untradeable player.
Well, that makes it real rough for Double O Nation. Makes it real difficult to get back into this.
Hey, look, they and 9Z both are in the same situation, and in some ways that'll be consolation for each of them. Guys, haha, laugh it off. Look, we're at home. We both had a rough start. We can both regroup from this, and they definitely need to look at it that way. the XX with a Molotov toward Try. That'll push him back up the ramp towards the A site.
Dumao waiting, Deagle in hand, misses the opportunity. One tag. Taco's got a FAMAS at the B bomb site. Try all alone at the A bomb site. The two defenders are split. Trying to recover a 2-on-4 scenario in middle has been compromised. Oh my lord, the timing on that is huge. Timing on that is everything.
So Try goes down, Taco gets through the smoke, he wants to sneak in behind, but this is going to be such a huge amount of kills for him to find and make anything of this. Bomb already planted as well, and Scenario straight around the corner. Wide side with a MAC-10. Taco never expected it.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? We're in a 4-on-1. Why even go for the plant right now? Let's make sure everything's secure. Let's not lose a single detail. Let's not lose track of a single player. 14-3. Timeouts taken from Double O Nation, but there's no good answer. There's no good decision in this situation.
Tough part is, and I understand what the crowd's trying to do, only be allowed for Double O Nation, therefore showing that they're only supporting that.
Turns around, Perfecto's gone, they're all there! Shatters Navi in one magazine! That is nuts! And lethal stick, Torji jumping down! Torji! What is that?
They're both down on the bomb site. One good kill. OC picks up one more. No, you must be kidding me! Unbelievable triple.
Hey Future Pros! Today I'm traveling to the wonderful world of Sirocco to teach you all how to use the mobility package to its fullest potential in Danger Zone. Yes, Danger Zone is still a thing, and yes, people still play it. You may remember me as the guy who died to the Danger Zone back at Katowice 2019.
This is worse than Summit. Rush. This is just, that is... What a blunder!
But I've come a long way since then, and I've also learned some fancy tricks with the mobility package I want to pass on to you all. The mobility package is a purchasable item that you can buy from your tablet at any point as long as you have the cash. The package costs $1,000 and contains an exosuit, parachute, and 3 bump mines. Let's go into all 3 items, starting with the exosuit. When you pick up the exosuit, it will attach to your legs and give you more movement options. If you hold space, you will jump at least twice as high as without it. Pressing crouch and jump at the same time will launch you forward and allow you to cover more distance with a bit extra speed. The exosuit also affects fall damage. You take around 40% less damage with the exo equipped than you would do otherwise. If you find yourself falling from a high area and land on an enemy player, you will transfer some of the fall damage to the player and also mitigate some damage from yourself. The height you fall from correlates to the damage you can do. You like the view? It is possible to kill a full HP player if you fall from high enough. I like to call this a Goomba. The second item in the package is a parachute. This does exactly what you think it would. However, I highly recommend not using the parachute. There are tricks to avoid some fall damage without it, and there's nothing worse than hitting a perfect jump only for your parachute to deploy, giving your enemy the easiest kill of their lives. Last but not least is the bump mines. This is where the fun begins. You will receive 3 of these in the package. Bump mines are a throwable object that stick to any surface and launch you into the air. When thrown, they take a small amount of time to activate, which will help you position yourself correctly over them. Your position over the bump mine heavily correlates to where you'll be propelled. Standing directly over the mine will launch you straight up into the air. If you stand in front of the mine, it will launch you forward, but with less height. When using a bump mine, try to always have your knife or your fist out. This will give you the most distance compared to having a weapon out. Now you understand what each item does, let's start combining them. When using the bump mines with the exosuit, holding space will give you an extra boost to your bump launch. This is also the case with the crouch jump too. Crouch jumping with your fists or knife out will give you the most distance from your bump mine. And that is how to bump. Now you have bumping down, let's talk about mitigating fall damage. The easiest way is to jump from a lower position to a higher one. Landing in water will also negate any fall damage you might take. On the advanced side, depending on your speed and trajectory, you can actually surf on slanted ground, which will cause you to take no fall damage. This is hard to do, so I suggest practicing this offline. If you start getting good at surfing, you can do ungodly things. For example, placing a bump mine at your surf spot ahead of time to allow you to cover practically the whole map. I enlisted the help of Sid and Cobra, a legendary duo in the Danger Zone scene, to show you this triple bump on Blackside. You can find their info below. I hope this helped you all, and I look forward to seeing you in the skies of Danger Zone.
Not so nice. It was kinda nice. Someone clipped that maybe?
Wooden barrels, formerly known as car. Then aim at this part of the tile and jump throw. Now no one can play from new box, great. Future Pro 4, you also have an easy job. Once Future Pro 1 has boosted you onto the half wall, position yourself over this corner of the wall. Then aim at this gap in the trees and throw your molly. This will force anyone out of dark. If this execute is done correctly with the right timings, there should be literally nowhere for the CTs to stand apart from out into the open. But make sure you practice those timings, it really is all about timings.
Turns out the crowd buff hasn't quite kicked in for our Brazilian teams just yet, but it's good news on the side of the Eagles. Absolute decimation in their opening series here in Brazil. And Peacemaker, you were saying you were surprised to see it even end up on Vertigo in the first place when we're looking at 0-0 Nation's win record recently.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think Vertigo has been a map that 0-0 Nation played only once in the past 3 months, right? And they even lost that series. And I think that one of the, I mean, I have to assume that the fact that they decided to play Vertigo was more towards like, they probably practiced the map quite a lot recently. And I mean, it does make sense, right? Because they are about to play a major, they have to improve their map pool. So they decided to test Vertigo, and probably as well, I would assume that just the fact that Bad News Eagles wouldn't be able to prepare as much for them, you know, they kind of have to go blind because you can't really prepare a lot for when 0-0 Nation only played 1 game, right? So I think they tried it and they had a clear game plan throughout the whole game, which I guess we're going to talk about a little bit, and it just didn't pay off, yeah.
Yeah, Bad News Eagles just being incredibly proactive
Yes.
coming onto this map as well.
Yeah, I think the mindset from Bad News Eagles is the story, it's the talking point, it's what we have to focus on. They were so assertive, they were so courageous, so brave in looking for the information and in grabbing map control away from 0-0 Nation. I think Juan Flatru kind of embodies this mindset what we're talking about. He had a bunch of multi-kills early on in the game who forced 0-0 Nation to be either always paranoid about your back or slowing down your pace. He was taking so much space. You can see here some of the duels he's taken in front of smokes, being pesky, being lurky. He embodied all that BNE needed early on, and he did a tremendous job.
Yeah, and I think that all, again, another IGL, right, who's stepping up and, you know, going for aggressive peaks and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, he was setting the pace of the game, not only him, but like, I don't think that Zero Nation had an answer for the aggression coming out of Bad New Eagles. And even in the interview, we saw Taco talking about it, right? That they knew what they're facing against, they had a good game plan against it, they knew that they're aggressive, but yeah, it didn't show up on the server.
Do you want to give us some details as to what you kind of thought or were reading into what the game plan was for 00 Nation? Because you were saying there was a lot of fixation towards a particular side of the map.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think that the game plan from 00 Nation was to hit the B-bomb side. They tried that a couple times throughout the whole game. And the thing is, like, they had a clear game plan about it, and once you start failing, then it's kind of hard for you to, like, you know, guys, let's just completely scratch whatever we had in plan and let's just switch over towards the A-bomb side. And when, let's say, for example, you take a timeout and then you do that, it's so obvious for the other team to just, you know, oh, okay.
At least have to grab some map control away from it. You at least have to do some presence on the A side. You have to trade a little bit. You have to keep BNE in the dark. It was so very clear early on, after 40, 50 seconds of round max. BNE, if you communicate just a little bit, you're going to know what's happening. And we just had our M-Force Hem High. We had Rigon as well up here because of the work he did on the A side. Anytime he was tested, it was multi-kills from down the ramp to back on the A side as well. He was passive when he had to, aggressive when he had to. He locked down that entire map on his own. A was closed by Rigon.
And a Swiss man after your own heart, Matthew, as well, heading through a region. I do want to praise Bad News Eagles, especially what you were saying about the momentum that we can see them garner, because I think maybe that for me was a worrisome sign looking back at the RMR, particularly the two sides didn't really have to see a whole lot of that two side because it was a 12-3 first half. But the fact that they could keep that pacing up, I think that is what's so deadly about Bad News Eagles coming onto a game.
Yes, we talk a lot about teams who are momentum-based. I think BNE is the poster child of momentum in Counter-Strike, and it can come for the good, it can come for the bad. We've seen them struggle to fight back in games and kind of find their second breath, but here they never had to. Here they were in the driving scene from start to finish, and they are truly a team where whenever they are in control of the game, they not only have individuals who make plays, as we've seen, but also their reads are really good. Like, they had a 4v5 in that game where GXX basically stacks on the A side, and there are 4 players here. And it's so crushing if you're a 00 Nation. You are being slapped around. It's a 5v4. Finally, you got everything you need. And you realize your opponent just completely gamble stacked against you. Double stack, sandbag, plus AWP towards CL. That's it. It's at this point, you just let go of the keyboard and say, you know, I can't do anything right. It's just not working.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think that what's even more impressive for me is that the fact that, you know, Bad News Eagle, at least before this major, they were playing a couple online matches and stuff, and their results has been pretty sloppy right after the RMR.
That was complicated.
Right? Yeah, that was complicated. So, like, just the fact that they're able to, again, against the crowd, against one of the favorites from the Brazilian scene, like, you know, pull up this performance and do what they did. Like, it was, as you said, like a complete domination. Like, 00 Nation had no answer whatsoever to whatever happened. Like, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately for 00 Nation, that does spell an unfortunate loss coming into their opening matchup here in Brazil. But we do have some words from the birthday boy himself. It's Cold Zero with Banks.
I've got Cold Zero with me now. And Cold, I want to just touch on the things of looking at Vertigo, right? You've not played it since your South American qualifiers. Was this a map you've been working on, or did you just try and look at, like, Bad News Eagles not playing it so well recently?
So we were like playing a lot of Vertigo on the practice. Of course, we didn't play too much on officials, but we saw the opportunity, like they don't play good Vertigo, so we tried to abuse that. And today was kind of hard a little bit. We were committing so many mistakes, missing grenades, missing flashes. Communication was not on point as well. I think like for us, like first match is always hard. So like I think people feel the pressure a little bit of the stage. So first match for us is always hard, like same as like we were playing their RMR. So let's see in the second match.
And what were you saying to some of the younger players on your team, right? What were you and Cold saying to ensure they didn't kind of get nervous or feel the pressure from that crowd? Because I know you guys are used to it.
Like we just tell them like just breathe a little bit, just keep calm. Let the game go. Like get more initiative. We need more initiative because like we had so many rounds that we were on ramp. We knew they were playing like passive. We wait like 30-40 seconds to execute A, and they just re-aggress us, and they pick us everyone with nades on hand. So we're just trying to tell them to be more calm, a little bit more calm, and have more initiative.
And on terms of that, right, when you mentioned the aggression, I actually thought that it would work quite well because you're used to playing against aggressive teams, especially from the other Brazilian teams. So was there something in particular that surprised them, or are you putting it more down to yourself?
Yeah, I think like for us, like we knew like they play very aggro, but at the same time, like the initiative was not there. So when we need someone just to say, okay, I can smoke this, I can smoke that, and we didn't have, like people were a little bit quiet, and we got shut down in the first half buy. So we won our first buy. We knew they would re-aggro ramp, and we just took too long to execute it and take this shutdown a little bit and put a high pressure on us.
Well, it certainly sounds like you know what to do to fix it, so I look forward to seeing that. Cole, thank you very much, bro.
And I really like that honesty coming out of Coulter.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the rookies and how they would have to show up to define kind of the limits of 0-0 Nation. Well, there's no beating around the bush. Dumao was invisible. He traversed this game as a ghost, had no impact at all. I think 0.28 rating he had at the end of the game. Not that the number in itself matters, but the harsh truth is he failed his first test. This is now a failure. He can move on. Hopefully he can bounce back from it. I hope he gets help from the team as well. Because as a player, when you leave that chair, when you leave that stage and you gotta regather with your thoughts, then it's extremely hard to get away from that cloud, like nebula that you have. That was a failure. It's just one game, but 0-0 Nation.
you